Family. Hello, hello, hello. We got an interesting topic coming up right now. And you know me, I'm kind of nerdy, so I'm going to be probably I don't know if this is going to be boring to you or not, but a lot of people miss this. They dismiss this when it comes to communicating with ancestors and going into the spiritual realm. And so the imagination is very, very important when you are wanting to again communicate with the spirit realm, to communicate with your ancestors. The imagination is the vehicle that you would be using to go into all these different realities and to the spiritual realm. All of this is about your mind. All of this is about your mind, about you mastering your mind. The imagination, and this is the thing that the mystics, the occultists, the ancients, they always knew this. Okay, why do you think our ancestors was telling these stories? They was telling these stories to us, especially when we talk about Aha John the Conqueror, and they're telling us these stories about Brer Rabbit and the Seven Sisters, uh, the Crossroads. What are they doing when they telling us this? They are telling these stories again to program them in our imagination, just passing it on. It's really easy how they pass it on to you. And before you know it, when you start going into these realms, those archetypes are already in your consciousness. Okay? Your imagination is one of the most sacred faculties that you have. It is again, it is consciousness. It's God creative intelligence within us, a tool through which we perceive, interpret, and engage with the unseen. The spirit realm itself is invisible to the physical eye, yet imagination becomes the lens through which we can witness and experience its presence. Through this divine capacity, God reveals spiritual truths, guidance, visions to those who are open. The act of imagining, therefore, is not trivial exercise of fantasy. It is a sacred dialogue between the soul and the spirit. Most of these books that we go through, they're going to be giving you some meditation practices. While they're doing this, they're giving you the path working to access these realms. That's what they're doing. A lot of people dismiss this. Hi, Lisa Machado, YouTube family. A lot of people miss this, and they don't sit down long enough to fully develop their imagination. Sometimes TV, TikTok, YouTube, they have destroyed that. A lot of our ancestors did not like the fact that it was a TV. They didn't like that, okay, because they knew it messed with our inner vision, and they already had an inner vision set for us. Okay, so it does you good too when you start going down this spiritual path. The ancestors might have you turning off the TV. They might have you stop looking at YouTube videos and coming to TikTok so much. They might have you somewhere sitting down. Okay. Hello, Skull. Hello, Digital Lifestyle. Hello, what's it, Eunice? Okay. Welcome, 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 YouTube family. Welcome, 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 TikTok family. Your imagination is the gateway to the unseen, bridging the physical again and metaphysical dimensions. And you got to remember when you start looking at these spirits, they are all consciousness, especially when you start dealing with archangels. Again, they're part of the collective consciousness that reside in you because they're using your imagination to bridge and speak with you. And when you start imagining, because I see people, am I making it up? No, you're not. Your mind already knows how to imagine things. You know how you read a book sometimes, and in your mind, you can already see how that scene looks with all the adjectives and stuff in it. Your mind already knows how to do that. But the TV, again, the things that we're seeing with these eyes clouds our inner vision. Okay, it clouds your inner vision. And so you miss it and you're distracted with the other things. It opens the inner senses, allowing the sight to experience realities beyond the ordinary limits of perception. Through imagination, we encounter visions, archetypical symbols, ancestral presences, and divine beings realities that cannot be grasped by rational thought alone. So when you start imagining speaking with the ancestors, and when you go into, again, you taking that 15 minutes to imagine that you're speaking to the ancestor, envision them any way you want to, because what's going to happen is they are going to, again, they're all consciousness. They're all consciousness. Okay, and you'll be surprised how accurate your inner vision is when you start doing these meditation exercises. Your ancestors, again, is going to embody your imagination. They can present themselves the way they want to, again, through your imagination, through your inner vision. All of this is inside of you. All these realities, all these places that you want to go, they reside within your consciousness. They're already there. Again, you have to get out your mind that you're human. You're not that. I know what you're seeing with these physical eyes. That's playing tricks on you. That is playing tricks on you. But your imagination is the facility to visit all these different realms. And you will see that with mystics, they're telling you, and I saw this and I saw that. Me and the ancestors have sat down about that. I said, ancestors, the only way they can be seeing having these mystical experiences, and see, they're leaving that out of there. Some of our ancestors knew how to take certain herbs and things like that and go into the another reality. They already had that type of path working set up, or you had ancestors telling you to close your eyes and leading you through the path working, through your imagination, and you would have these experiences. This is why they're telling you the stories that they're telling you. Again, to spark your imagination, giving you a link into that realm. Like High John the Conqueror. We know we gave him a spirit. We made him real. Again, we gave a personality, again, brought that root alive by talking about it in such a way that we gave life to High John the Conqueror. I know it seems like wow, but I have been in meditation, and I'm gonna take it here. I have been in meditation. I'm telling you, trust your imagination. Don't trust your inner vision. Stop listening to people. Go within. Go within. Go within. I can't emphasize that enough, because inside of you is the answer. Your mind know exactly what it wants to do. And then Gregor, I was just about to get in there. I was trying to wait to get into that. Shay. Look at Shay in the TikTok chat. I was just about to get into that. And that's a sticky subject. But Shay just dropped the gem right there in the chat. She just dropped the gem right there in the chat. I'm not gonna get into that because that's gonna take me off that Shay. It's not, but I'm gonna come back here until we're gonna talk about the Ingregor. We're gonna come back and talk about, you just dropped the gem right there. But in so many words, you are right. It's a movie called The Slumberland, kind of like what is being said. Yeah, sort of like that. Your imagination is very powerful. Remember, you are creating this reality. Reality is subjective to your imagination, to your thinking, to your perception. You can shift it at any time. Now, children, they naturally see that because they live in an imaginary world. They're able to pick up subtle energies and shift them and look at them. Children, they have that. Okay, they already can see things because, again, they have a very vivid imagination. They can see things that you can't see. And that is exactly the way that you need to approach spirituality, from the imagination of a child. Now, since I've been into this, and going into the shamanic world and going into the spiritual realm, and I know this is going to probably be over some of your heads, but it is animation. The more you watch cartoons, to me, the spiritual realm sort of has the physics and the movement of cartoon animation, because again, it can be changed. Again, okay, animation. It's the reason why they call it animation. Because anything is possible in a dream, just like anything is possible during animation. The law of physics is just like different in the spiritual realm. You got some mystics. Now you go into some of these books, you have some mystic, a part of their initiation or their depthhood. They have to again build a inner temple in their mind. You got some people that are so good at this, they have a spiritual temple in their mind they go to where they work magic. That's just like Shambhala. I just got through looking at, you remember that world in Doctor Strange, and it was called Shambhala. And he went to that place to get healed. That was again an imaginary place in the spiritual realm that he had to go through it to in meditation. Because when you start looking at Shambhala, like Shay just put in there, it's an egregore. It's a living being thing now that they have focused so much imagination into. You got people pouring so much energy into the creation of Shambhala. Now it is a living entity on its own. When people go in there, the collective conscious go in there, they have made it alive. I ain't gonna get into the egregore right now, but that's what happens. Thoughts are things. Thoughts is the vehicle where you would travel to the spiritual realm. It's going to be your mind. That's why it's so important before you get over here to start doing shadow work, because if your shadow work ain't done and you call yourself trying to go to a realm, and then during a meditation or a pathway working, a trauma come up, it could again kick you into another realm, a realm that you ain't, you didn't know that was in your subconscious like that. You didn't know that thing was in your subconscious like that. And there you go. You're faced with the archetype of yourself, a shadow part of yourself that you wasn't ready to deal with. That's why you have to, high royal goddess. That is why you have to when you go into ayahuasca and all that thing, you have some people that go through a bad trip. Some of them have not identity healing and all that, and they have they come into face what they would call a demon, but really the demon is part of you. It is the shadow parts of yourself. And the best way to do that is really to sit down and do that work first, clear it out before you start trying to go to these other places through your imagination. You don't know what's in there until you start trying to settle down and your mind start bringing this subconscious, start bringing these things forward to you. That's why shadow work is important. Because if you haven't did the work, you'll find yourself in a realm, your imagination again, it is pulling from whatever is going on with you, whatever the intention is. What is shadow work for the new people? Shadow work is you healing your traumas, all those patterns and things, the things that you don't like seeing in yourself. That is all the traumas and things that was passed on to you by your ancestors, whether you are aware of it or not. Okay, so when you don't process these things and go into these realms like that in your mind, because that's what people say. I have a hard time getting my mind together. I have a hard time settling my mind down. Okay, and when you haven't did that, then your mind is gonna, you're not gonna be choosing the thoughts. You're gonna let your thoughts choose for you. So it's important to have a greater awareness when you start going into these realms, because you're going to be going through them in your imagination. That's why you'll see in most of these books, they're going to have meditation exercises to help you visit different realms. That's just like let's talk about shamanism. Shamanism, we already have a path working. We know there is a world tree. We know if we want to go see the ancestors, we want to go see ascended masters, we want to go see the most holiest ancestors. Again, we have to go on to the upper world of the tree. Then you have the middle world. If you want to do magic or you want trying to heal, really with magic, that middle world, you can go in there and you can change the things, you can shift some things in that realm. We already have an arch that's already given to us. This is why they're telling you what they saw in their consciousness. And a lot of them, they don't want to. This is the missing gun that they leave out of that. Some of them had this occult knowledge where they can walk you into that path working. You have it now. It's called virtual reality. They're using it now on you. It's called virtual reality. Those video games, you're going into an imaginary reality, cyberspace, whatever they want to call it. But they got that from you because you're their inner space. You carry all of that. All of these are inside you when you start again going into your inner self, sitting, being quiet, and looking at these realms within you. Because that's how you're going to be communicating with these spirits. You go there anyway in your sleep, but now you can consciously go there uh, doing visualization and path working. That's why I tell people you are not making it up. And your mind, trust that your mind is going to do what it's supposed to do. Whatever you imagine or whatever, uh, that is what you're going to see. Now, a good way to refine this imagination and really have control over your states of consciousness and the realm that you're in is to start looking at uh, images that will bridge you into that realm. It's sort of like the movie Jumpers. That movie Jumpers with Samuel L. Jackson in it, and that guy was looking at these pictures, and he was able to jump to different realities. That's true. See how they putting it in your face and put it in the movie? Put it in your movie. This is the ancient. Um, this is the ancient knowledge of our ancestors. They showed you that on Black Panther. Put it right there in your face. He drunk that purple stuff, and he went in there and saw the ancestors. They putting it in your face. They let you know it where it is. A lot of people don't trust their imagination because, again, people say, "Oh, you just making it up," or they say, "Oh, that's just your imagination." Really, yeah, it is. It's my inner eye. It's my third eye. It's my inner knowing. Your inner eye is the real eye. These eyes right here are fake. They only can see reflections of light. That's all they can see. The inner eye can see things beyond the naked eye. It can see things beyond that. A lot of people don't like to trust it because we have, again, we're distracted, and then we a lot of us don't have access to this type of ancestral knowledge, but they be putting it right there in your face. And I have to go through this. We have to really, in our community, we have to break this down. I know a lot of people probably be getting upset. Miss Penny, why you keep talking about this stuff with your mind, your mind, your mind, your mind, your mind, your mind? Everything is all mind. And you're going to be using your mind a lot in your work to communicate with spirits. We already talked about they commute telepathically. If you want to see them, again, close your eyes, your inner eye. Imagine how you want to see them. And again, they would take on that image because they're all consciousness. They can see you projecting that. And so, what they will do is put on the projection sort of like a clothing. And then you have some of them, they can project pretty good into your imagination and you can see them. It's clear with your inner eye. Now, when you go in the conjure, in our conjure class, we got a book over there, and I've told them this: be careful with that book if you're not ready to see these realities. Because when in the occult, when we're ringing the bell, you're ringing the bell, you start shifting into frequency. You see how your mind will shift into a frequency, into the spiritual realm. That's what they're doing that for. All of that is again to alter your consciousness, and again activate that imagination so you can start experiencing these spirits. Now you'll see a lot of people over here, they go through psychosis. Why? Because their mind was not properly ready to visit these realities. They hadn't did the core work. Okay. Through the power of imagination, the human mind can traverse multiple planes of reality. That's how you go in there. I'm gonna give you, for instance, when I did chakra healing, there is a portal in your root chakra that you can visit. There's a portal there. There is a whole reality, again, in your root chakra. There is a portal, there's a reality, there are entities, there are spirits that reside in the root chakra portal. It's not just an energy field, it is also a reality. Okay? And you can go there. And most of these, you'll see some of these chakras are connected with certain elements. Thank you, Haitian. What is her name? Haitian Empress. And our ancestors, this is the knowledge that's been hidden with you. You won't know that until you go. That's why you hear that. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna use this for example. Why you thinking Ifa? They're telling you all these stories. They're telling you about Oshun. They're telling you about Ogun. What do you think they're doing? They're planting. And as soon as they start telling the story, what do you do? Start imagining. You start seeing them. And again, you're being programmed with that collective archetype as soon as they start telling you the story. The subconscious mind is already recording this. So if you wanted to go back now and visit that Orisha, or you wanted to talk to the Orisha, now that imagination is already in there. This is why the stories and stuff were so important, because they're programming you with the cosmology and the archetype when you're listening to these stories. Our ancestors very, very smart, very, very neat. They was already programming us for hoodoo and we didn't even know it. Very, very smart. That's why these songs, that's why these chants, the drumming, the stories, all of that again was programming you to the cosmology to come in contact with these spirits. The same thing I don't even want to get into that, but the same thing you see with the church. And what did our ancestors do? They again they changed the programming of the Bible. They changed again looking at Moses like a conjure man, looking at Jesus like a country man. See how they changed the archetype? And so now when they picked up hoodoo, uh, again, they came in contact with conjurers. This is how they did it. Okay? That's why the stories and stuff are so important. That's just like when I start reading more about the ancestors and reading about their history, instantly a movie started playing in my head, and I again, it was like I was there. And I read some of their history, and ancestors just came in and started talking to me. If you can immerse yourself in the history, that's just me. Uh, I can, as soon as I start reading some, my imagination begins to start, especially if it's very descriptive. And then I'm trying to connect with my ancestors. It's like going into a place with them and standing there watching things play out. I don't know, that's how it was for me. So when I learned more about them, more about their history, the connection deepened because my imagination again was open to that. That's why I tell you to read, you need to be reading. You need to get your mind right. Okay, because your mind is going to be facilitator of this. Watch what you expose your eyes to, because that's going to be your inner reality. Okay. Even when I start going doing these journeys, I would look at pictures. I would look at images again to start programming my consciousness. So when I would go into a meditation, these I already had a landscape in my mind. I have a landscape in my mind how my inner my sacred place look that I go. Okay. You're going to see in all these books, and the best way to do this is to again build your own meditation videos, or record your own meditations. If you find one, you say I can't find one. That was my thing because I wanted to go in and see the ancestors. I have an ancestor meditation on my YouTube channel. That thing got so many dang on likes on it because I created it for me to go into the ancestor realm. But when I shared it on the channel, everybody was having the same experience I had. when using that meditation. They are describing the same thing I experienced in my meditation. Through that meditation that I'm sharing, we're able to experience the same reality. You understand what I'm telling you? And I wanted that for them because I knew some people wanted to have a really meaningful connection with their ancestors. And so I created the meditation for me. And I said, hey, this thing blowed it out the water. I really connected with my ancestors with this. Let me share it with other people and see if they have the same experience. And I be damned that go watch it. It's ancestral healing meditation. I think the alignment meditation. You go that I have got. Hey, blew it out the water. People have hit me up and said, "Oh my gosh, I saw this, I saw that," and I'm like, "Dang, this is the same kind of experience I had. Why is this happening? Because I shared that spirit realm with it, that ancestral realm with them through that meditation." Is this also connected to how visualization and manifestation work together? Exactly, Shay Antoinette. Exactly. That's how it works together. And you missing that. That's so important. I can't tell you how important it is, honey. I can't tell you how important it is. And people think you making stuff up. You sure in the hell is. You supposed to. Trust it. Write it down. I have been in meditation and seen a scene uh in my meditation, an image, peace and heart. Peace and heartbeat, positive blessings to you, Miss Penny. I thank you for these live chats tonight. My 5-year-old daughter is listening, and she smiles when you said her name. Oh, sure, now it's her time to learn. Yes, it is. Okay, I can't tell you how many times that I have been in meditation and I've thought to myself, I don't know if I'm making this up or not, because I remember lately I was in a dream. Not a dream, because again, sometimes when you get into these visualizations, you can't tell a vision from a dream because the ancestors be showing you so much. But I was in a meditation, and in the meditation, the ancestors was working on me, and we were having a conversation. And in the meditation, they had lifted me up and I was spinning around and there was a diadem like a diamond around my head spinning me. And they were talking to me and telling me what they think of me and how they were working on me and how they were proud of me. And I was like, I'm letting my imagination go. I don't stop it. I let it do what it's going to do because it knows what to do. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what is going on here?" So I finished the meditation and I'm kind of crying when it's going on because I can feel the reverence, I can feel the love that's coming from them during the meditation. So I'm crying. I'm like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it's happening." And so when I get out of the meditation, I go and I get my oracle cards. And do you know, and this has happened a couple of times, the image, the archetype I seen in the image came up in my tarot, which is the African goddess unveiled. So Sarah Kali came up. And in this image, she has this crown sort of diadem on her head. So you'll see these archetypes. You will start seeing tarot archetypes, card archetypes. I couldn't make that up myself. I didn't even know that was in my deck like that. But when I asked the ancestors, was that real? And I usually do a divination after each meditation. And most times, at some point, I'm going to see whatever I saw in meditation. I'm going to see those. I'm going to see that image in some of those cards, and knocks my socks off every time it happens. That's what happened. The mind already has a lot of these archetypes in there, especially when you start again uh dealing with tarot cards, going into the ancestral realm, intent being aware of them. They will start pulling up on you. This is all about consciousness. And remember, these spirits will communicate to you through consciousness. They're going to come in your dreams. Okay, that's what happens when you start doing rituals. And a lot of people say, I don't see anything. I don't. Some people feel things right then and there, some people don't. Okay, but what is going to happen if you keep doing rituals with your ancestors and you keep doing rituals with these archangels? You are opening up and programming your subconscious to let them come in. And you got to remember, and when you are working at your altar, you are already imagining them. You are already met. Again, that is an altered state of consciousness. The altered state of consciousness is the spiritual realm. Why you think we're calling the altar? Some people can look at the altar and instantly their mood start to shift. That's what you want. That it starts to shift. And what is it shifting to? It's shifting to sensing those spiritual energies. That's what happens. That's how you're training your mind. That's how you're training your mind, body, and spirit. So when you go to your altar, you're automatically shifting into those altar realities to sense those energies. And that's what the altar does as well. It shifts the energies in the house to bring in a greater flow of energy. I'm gonna make it plain to you. I hope this making sense to you. You're not making it up. I have to tell people that, and I think that's the most hardest thing for us trying to learn our ancestral practice and get back to the old ways because we don't understand the power of our imagination and how the imagination is a vehicle into the spirit realm. They've been telling you this without telling you this. But the best way to get your mind right on this is you're going to have to sit down and start moving out a lot of that garbage because a lot of us got a garbage in our mind. They done told us we ain't nothing. I don't know what you'd have been through. But once you start getting the garbage in your mind, you start aligning yourself and it's more easier for you to visit these frequencies or realities. They've been telling you without telling you. That's why dreams and stuff was so important. Now, for some people, uh, you see some people they don't want to even they don't even know how to access the part of this in their mind. So you say some people they go into ayahuasca, they go into these other sort of ceremonies to help them go into these different realms. But I'm here to tell you that you can go there yourself. You can go there yourself without that high user 8803544. You can go there yourself in the right conditions. Again, and usually when I'm going there myself, the whole night is planned. I'm gonna at least allow myself 20 to 30 minutes to go into that realm. I'm gonna block even if I have to cover my eyes. I mean, it's a big thing for me. I'm gonna set the intention. I'm gonna already be telling my mind we're gonna do this. I'm gonna already be telling my ancestors I'm coming in to see you. When I go to my altar, whatever, I'm gonna go ahead and start meditating at that altar. Okay, who is this? Said this? Having a clear conscience takes on a whole other meaning now. Yeah, because if you're not going in there with a clear conscience and things like that, and you got a whole bunch of traumas, what's going to come up is those traumas, and you don't know how what being they're going to manifest themselves as. And again, you think it's not you, you think it's outside you. No, it is you. You have all control through this, through your imagination and through your awareness. Okay. And when you go in the dream world anyway, you're going into the astral plane. But it's fascinating to be able to do this on purpose when you have excellent visualization. You understand how to travel the realms. And one thing that we went over there is shamanism. That's just like when you go in nature and you close, you're looking at nature and you're talking to nature through your third dimensional senses. But if you were to close your eyes, you would see the spirits of these trees, of the grass. Imagine that you can see the spirits. And instantly your imagination, because it knows it's going to start imagining these spirits. And the way your imagination sees them, that is the way it is. Because it's already there. Your mind already knows. It's just wonderful. The mind is I can't tell you, it's supernatural in itself. You don't know you walking around here being a supernatural being. Yeah, people tell you, yeah, I got a brain, you got a brain, but can't nobody see your mind and your thinking. Do you know how supernatural that is? They can tell you got a neurotransmitters and neurons and all that stuff in your mind. They can tell you that you got that in your brain, but it still doesn't explain the fact how you process information and sitting here walking and talking. That is supernatural in itself. We're coming in contact with it already. You don't know how powerful your mouth is until the ancestors have you closing it and tell you when to open it. And you be like, oh my God, my mouth do that? Yep, your mouth do that. That's why we want you to keep your mouth shut. It's power, it's a port in your mouth. Your tongue is a wand. Nobody tell you that. That's why we want you to keep your mouth shut. Because you create magic. You say you want to do this. Okay, this comes with responsibility. Keep your mouth shut. Know when to open it. I have to tell people too, you don't know how to use your mouth. When your ancestors they told you don't know how to use your mouth. You're supposed to be using your mouth to heal yourself and shift stuff and call down stuff. Hush till you know how to use your mouth. Hey, Key Fam Six. I kept my mouth shut too. And when I did open it, boy, was I healing myself. Boy, was I healing myself. Because you building up your chi too. You resetting the energy in your mouth when you keep it closed and you start doing shadow work on yourself and start using it to heal yourself. Hey, got my reading, y'all. Get y'all ancestral work reading. Oh, yes, you got your astro reading. I take it that it did something for you. Jay says she got her ancestral reading. Can you tell me what to do? What do you do, please? I'm glad you got some good feedback from it, Jay. Again, what I do, like I said, I didn't even know I had this gift at first. I'm surprised at what I give, and I think it comes from the great mothers. But when I started this unconsciously, I just started doing meditation sessions with people. I would take people into meditation sessions. That's what I was doing at first, because I yield so many good results for me. And so again, I was doing path working with other people, walking them through spiritual realities. Go back and listen to that. And sometimes I don't even think of me. If it feels like an older ancestor that comes in and is guiding that. It's sometimes I don't even feel like me. Go back and listen to that ancestor meditation. I look at that, I said, that's not even me. Okay. It's not even me. That those are the gifts and stuff that was passed on from my older ancestors that I have accessed within myself. I have access to wisdom within myself. See, when you start going in, you come in contact with these other ancestors. This is in your DNA. They all in there. When you start imagining them and knowing in your mind, because see, the thing about that, because this is all mental. Believe me, the occultists know this, the Freemasons know this. They are using this mind again. When you get control of your mind and you know how to will your thoughts, you are going to see results. But they have not taught us how to properly will and mind our mind. You just laid something on me. Florence Scovel Sheehan stated, your words are your wand. They is everything. It said, and God moved upon the face of the water. This is the second. Sound is the second element. Water is the first element. Go back to your Bible. It said God moved upon the face of the water. And God said, and God said, so air is the second element of water. Sound is the second element. That's why I tell you water and air is the same. Air is nothing but dry water. So when you talking and you conjuring, like I said, we can our ancestors, they knew the power of sounds and phrases, because you're talking to somebody who can say two or three words and fire come out the sky. This is the knowledge that you have in you. That's why I have to take people all the way back and let you know who your ancestors is and let you know what's inside you. Yeah, we got to look at comedic sciences because them your ancestors. That's where this come from. I got to let you see all this DNA that you got in your blood that you can access through your imagination. Because once you start knowing this, and I start teaching you this, whether you know or not what I'm doing, I'm putting them archetypes in you so you can access them. That's why we can looking at it. It's already in you. That's why I'm doing it. That's why I'm telling you to look at that. So you can already start programming yourself with these archetypes in your mind. Your subconscious mind gonna do what it's gonna do. When you start feeding it and programming, again, you're programming it, and it's gonna pick it up. This is how your mind works. Our ancestors was quite aware of how their awareness was linked to nature around them. That's why they can again split clouds, split storms, work with weather, work with the air, work with rain. They were quite knowledgeable of how their awareness was linked with the natural world around them. Okay. I'm glad you said that. I was already into comedic sciences. Just got okay. Every room was pictured, just line picture. I drew of my home. Do you do readings? Yeah, I do readings too. I do astro readings and I do tarot readings. Okay. So again, it's gonna be in your imagination. I mean, you never, I can't even explain to you. I have been talking to my ancestors, and this is the way we talk. And I see a lot of mediums do it. I be like, I ain't heard from you in a while or something. I may say something like that. Well, instantly when I say that, all these pictures start popping in my mind. I know it's them. And they start telling me, here, we was right over here. I know what the picture mean. I know again, you don't know how your mind work. You ain't sitting still long enough. They talking to you, communicating with you, but you don't know how the spirit talk to you. You don't know how the spiritual real communicate. It's gonna be through your mind. If your mind is foggy, got a whole bunch of garbage and stuff in there, you're gonna be missing messages. And I'm gonna sit you down over there because again, I want you to heal. I know once you start healing and moving some of that stuff out of there, the line of communication becomes clear because you're getting rid of the static. Shadow work helps you get rid of the static and help you reach into higher realms. It all works together. It's not separate. It's not separate. And the more you refine the line, the better the communication you have with spirit. You have to have that inner peace, that inner stillness. You got to know how to go that. Okay? Through imagination, prayer, and ritual, one can communicate with ancestor spirits, receiving wisdom, healing, protection. Ancestor serves as both a memory and guidance connected us to the lineage and those who walk before us. Again, when I go to that ancestor altar, when I want them to, I want to get a song for them, honey. It be a whole thing. I play that music. I play that old gospel music. I have church up in here. I'm not gonna. I know I got a connection. Is when my skin start quickening and I start getting bumps because I done praised, I done did. I know I got a connection in, and I start opening my mouth. I play that music and everything. I have whole church up in here. I know how again the music they already gave us the music, the gospel music. They already gave us the gospel music. That gospel music, the music, the blues, and all that stuff they created, it is a bridge into the ancestral realm because instantly it's going to heighten your mood and it's going to trigger the imagination. Why you think they was doing songs and stuff and dance and stuff? And they're so smart. They left that gospel music. There's some gospel music we can put on, and boy, it just shift our whole consciousness. We instantly come in contact again with those our ancient saints, our ancestors. We instantly come in contact with our ancestors that sung the song because they've gave it psychic power because it comes from their voices. And once you do that, again, you're accessing your ancestors. That is a way you can access your ancestors. You're doing it. Go to that altar and have church start playing their music, read some scriptures to them. Just act like you in church, like they would be. That's how you access the ashe. I don't stop my magic until I feel that. That's how I know the magic going. That's how I know I done made a connection. I go there fully with awareness, knowing my tools and everything that I have available, my ancestors that left to me where I can access them. You have all the tools too. Are you using your tools? No, you don't need church, but it is a way. I say it like that for a lack of a term, just lack of another term. But hey, I'm doing dance, I'm doing singing, I'm clapping my hand, I'm letting them move my body with music, I'm letting them use my voice for song. I'm tapping deeply because music is very, again, very spiritual, and spirits love music. They come quicker when you sing things. That's why you hear our ancestors when they would talk, they will be humming. Even when the preacher be speaking, he's gonna speak in a tone where it's like a song. Come on in here, y'all. And God said, Spirit loves that. Spirit, they knew that. Like when you start really looking at the occult and things like that, and you looking at who doing how they was doing something, them ancestors was smart as hell. You hear me? Oh, baby. Them people was smart and tricky. You understand me? They got people on the outside looking at them like, oh, they just having church, baby. You don't even know what we tapping into. You didn't even know. And then you got other people that felt us that we call the Holy Spirit. They felt that they can feel that emanating off us. What they do, they went in their church and started doing the same thing. Start copying us. They say, something going, they doing something, they feeling something because we feel it off them. We got to do what they doing if we want to feel what they feeling. Because we definitely feel it coming off of them. I don't, Keith Fam Six said, how do you get out of a born in religion? When in meditation, how can you tell the difference between your own thoughts and the spirit speaking? Again, if you can't tell that difference, that means you have to do some shadow work. That means that you need to work on your inner being. You need to get to know your inner thoughts and your voice from an outside spirit that's bringing this in. So when I see people doing that, you probably want to work on your inner thoughts. Again, uh being mindful of the things that you're thinking. What are your thoughts? What are not your thoughts? What is trauma? Is that a trauma talking to you in there? Is that a repeated recording somebody told you about yourself? Or is that your thought? Again, when you start doing shadow work, you start again peeling back a lot of those false beliefs and things. And you recapture your inner child where all the magic happens. So again, I can't emphasize enough because this comes up. People would ask when because Renee said when meditation, how can you tell the difference between your own thoughts and the spirit speaking? You'll be able to know that if you were doing the shadow work because you know your own thoughts. And usually, if the spirit is talking to you, there is no way in the hell for me. I know I didn't know that. I know what they're telling me. I didn't know that. So I know this is spirit talking to me because I didn't know that. I don't know that information. So I know it's not me. I know it's my ancestors. I know it's my spirit guides because I came to them for the answer and they gave it to me because I didn't know the answer. Okay. But if you again, you'll have people with problems with this because we got so much gunk in our head. Even when I come to TikTok, I have to watch what I see on TV. I don't want to see that because I don't want that in my head. I'm passing it up. No, I don't want to hear it. I don't want that. I'm very picky about what I am going to engage my mind in because I know my mind is the vehicle to the spiritual realm and I need to have it in correct alignment. So when I go and do what I want to do, I have no problem with accessing these other realms and worlds or speaking with spirit. You got to be like that. You first, because the ancestors gonna have you sitting. The spirit will have you somewhere, sit down there and want you to watch no TV. They don't want you to talk to nobody. Matter of fact, they want you to keep your mouth closed and just look and observe. Matter of fact, they just want you to read something and get your mind together. Or should I ask, how do I present information learned about religion to a spouse that's a believer? Again, I'm not a religious person. I am not. People have tried to pull me into these different religions, and a long time. My family come from. They come from. They come from Pentecostal. Had one auntie that was Baptist. Got a lot of evangelists in my family. And then just looking at them and looking at these people, it's a difference between being religious and spiritual. These are two different things. These are two different things. And from my opinion, it's just like me. I am a learner. I like exploring. I like looking at them. I want nothing restricting me from learning. That's my star sign. I'm a Sagittarius. Don't do that. Don't I want to do what I want to do. We're just free birds like that. That restraint, I don't like that. I like learning. I like to see it. You see, and the more you tell me I can't do it, that's exactly the damn thing I'm gonna do. If you tell me what I ain't got, what I can't do, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. I'm just to show you what I can do. Okay, that's just me. That's the rebel in me. And so I don't like it because people get stuck, you know, it works for some people and some people it don't. And it definitely wasn't for me. I don't want nobody telling me what to do. I don't want nobody being a middleman between me and the divine. I don't need that. I'm the priest. I'm the priestess. I'm the goddess. I'm the vehicle for which spirit talks to me. I don't need nobody telling me what God said. I already been through that through church. I don't want to be. People are flawed. I want to come in contact with direct spirit. I've already had the opportunity of coming into people trying to uh again guide me. People are flawed. They mean well, but they are flawed. Okay, that's just my perspective. I don't pull people into religion. It takes a lot of manipulation. Why you can't just accept me the way I am? Why I got to be in your religion? Christianity was it was something. Okay, Christianity was something because they cut off families and all that because they didn't believe the way they believe. These people abandoned families and stuff. Some of them. Sagittarius, the philosopher and the mystic. That's definitely what I am. Oh my gosh, it makes sense. 1204 here. Master Martrika said yes. Yes. Hey, time stamping army. High cosine factor 300. Okay. So again, I just don't, those religions, and I talked about that the other day, and I just posted about that. What's his name? Leonard. His name is Leonard, the Bokar Leonard. He's here on TikTok, but he was talking about the same thing I was talking about. He was talking about the voodoo priests and the initiation and all that stuff. You don't know what you're getting yourself into. You really don't. And just like Shay, she hit it right on the head. You don't know what and I'm gonna talk about it later because I don't want to get off this subject. You don't know what you're getting into when you jump into these religions. That's a whole different spirit and entity on its own that you are bound into. You are making pacts with these spirits. And this is why these people be talking crazy, or that seem like something wrong with them. It is the spirit in that religion because it's the pact that they had to make. So you don't know what you're doing when you're getting over here and you jumping in to some of these religions and they are spilling blood and you are binding yourself to some of these spirits in the way that they are doing it. Okay, you are taking it. You think you going over there for a title because you think it look pretty. And I done told you, I'm gonna say it again. I don't want to be chopping off no chicken heads. I don't want to be messing with a goat. I don't want to be doing that stuff. Okay, Now it does has its place for some people, because you got some people ancestors is it honey drag them into the ATR, run them crazy until they get over there, because they done made pacts with these spirits, and they have promised these spirits that they will keep somebody in their lineage, in their practice. You got some people born into their religion, their parents put them in there, and they don't even want to be in there. And they making it look like something beautiful to you on here, but them people have to take care of those spirits, and it's specific things that they need you have to buy. Okay? So you ain't got that kind of money or whatever. Them you done made a pact with these spirits and you not doing what you supposed to do. What you think gonna happen to you? Your life gonna go to hell, because that you done signed a contract with these spirits. It says that you gonna do such and such and such and such, and they gonna do such and such and such and such to help your life. But if you don't do such and such and such and such, and you're not being consistent with your ritual, well, there you go. Are some connecting with the energy of the egregor rather than the spiritual? Look at Shay in here in the comments, just dropping gems in there. Look at her. Look at her. She telling you what it is right there. You as you know the answer. Look how your mind working. Exactly what's going on. That's exactly what's going on, Shay. And I'm trying not to go into that, but look at Shay. She started bringing me, pulling me in there. I'm trying not to get on the nerdy soapbox, but here, look at Shay. Shay pulling me in there. Bless her heart. She know the answer. That's the answer. That's why they looking at you like that. That's why and I don't think the Christian church know they're um under the manipulation, under the control of an egregor in the religion. You done gave so much psychic energy to the religion. The entity itself is alive and ruling the people. That's why you see them act like that. It's the programming of the spirit. Same thing with our ancestors. When they get together, when we get together, and I talked about that with the Kachinas, and I talked about that when we go out and do ring shouts and go out into nature. Soon as we go out into nature, we start doing a community thing. Again, we begin to create a spirit, an egregor. Now it's a whole spirit that again we are on the same intentions, everything that's helping us in our work. It just automatically happens when people come together with the same intent. Same thing with Christianity. The same thing with America, the country. But you guys can't feel it, but I can feel that egregor over America. It is a spirit in the people that again controlling the people like that. They're going in, and these people going in the Freemason, they going in there and they are doing these rituals. What do you think they're doing? They're creating an egregor. And whoever, same thing with a coven. When you go into a coven or something, they can tell if you're doing something off, because all of them are plugged into the egregor that's giving them psychic information about you. Same thing when you saw that movie. What is the name of that movie? Y'all, The Craft. Remember, they were all together. Together, they formed the egregor. It moved together with them. They knew each other thoughts. Why this is happening? Because it was again energy transference, thought transference through the egregor. And that's the same thing that happens when they go into Freemasonry. That's the same things that happens when they go into religion. Is the same thing that happens when we get outside in nature. But for us, our egregor, again, uh, it synchronizes with nature. Now, see, what's the name? Shay done come in here and she done got me off topic. And now I ain't even talking about imagination no more, because she had to come in here with that. Okay? I didn't want to go into that. But here she is, and the ancestors dealing with her because she know that. That's what's happening there. And I'm gonna go into this. I'll go more into this subject probably next month. I'll probably go into this subject even more, giving you more information on egregores because we're getting ready to talk about spirits more over there in our community. This is the stuff I be exposing you to over there because you don't know the spiritual science. You got somebody telling you that hoodoo look like religion, and it absolutely did not. This is a spiritual science. That's the balance of nature. That's right. When we go out in nature, most of our that's why you'll see a lot of our spiritual practices are going to be linked to nature. Now, when you go looking at uh more at orishas or whatever, these are nature spirits. These are the spirits of the elements. I talked about how you see Obia and a little bit in all of our spiritual practices, but these are nature spirits that we made pacts with. Some of our ancestors made pacts with. Makes sense since a lot of they were surrounded by water. And we just got through cut where we're getting ready to dive into fire spirits. But when we dive into fire spirits, guess who has the most information in contact with fire spirits? The Arabics. Makes sense since it's over there in the desert. Makes sense that you know that there would be a lot of fire spirits in that area because it's the deserts and all that stuff over there. It's it's right. Some genes are born in people. Okay, so again, be careful. You saying that you want to go in here and you want to initiate in here, and you see how them people be acting, and see they in the religion. So when they see you communicating with Oshun and you're at the river or the ocean and you just giving your little devotion, your little prayer and your offering again, you're doing a commitment, devotion to her. You're just serving her and honoring her. That's all you're doing. That's perfect fine. That's what we do over here in Hoodoo. But when they see you doing it, see how they act, they go crazy. You need to be initiated. And I knew what was going on with them. You done made a pact. And you think that everybody need to make a pact like you to do. No, 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 no. You chose that. You wanted to work with the spirit. Again, you wanted a pact with the spirit. I don't know what your agreement was. But that's not what we're doing over here. We're trying to be friends with the spirit and have a relationship with the spirit. We're not interested in the title. We're interested again in being friends with the energy of Oshun or Azali Frida or Papa Leg. But that's what we're doing. We're setting up a table again to develop a relationship with them. Versus you must have some ulterior motive. You thought you was gonna have a title, and you didn't sit there and develop a relationship. You got to do that during your practice. You jumped over there and got initiated, and you didn't even know the deity. You didn't even sit there long enough to know your ancestors or know the deity before you jumped over there into initiation. And now you got to sit here and do all this stuff to maintain this pact with this spirit. That's what then happened. So this makes perfect sense now. I knew it felt someone guided me into something I was called to. Now, if your ancestors want you over there, believe me, if you hear the some of these priests and priestess over there in the ATRs talk, especially old ones, they will let you know their ancestors drugged them into that. They damn life was a living hell until they got over there and start honoring those pacts and spirits. A lot of them didn't want to do it, but their ancestors again had these pacts and stuff with these spirits, and they had promised that they would always have someone in their lineage to keep on that tradition. And Empress, see, you'll tell them that, but see, they will get mad, and I think when they see us doing a devotion with some of these spirits or serving some of these spirits, developing a relationship with them, they get very upset. They get very, very upset. How are we able to do that? And then they tell us, "You ain't talking to them. You ain't talking to them because I do." You That's what your religion say. Just like Christianity told us we can't talk to God, we need to listen to our preacher. Sounds the same to me. No one owns a spirit. You don't own a spirit. It's just ridiculous to even think that or even be saying, are you thinking about? That's why I say that religion, just like Shay said, creates an egregore. I don't even, and again, it had people behaving that way. Remember when they went to that concert and that boy, them people, some people got unalived at the concert. They don't know what was happening there. Egregores. Spirits are everywhere. It's exactly the same. I don't need a middleman. Okay? That's what that is. That's what they're doing. So when they see us doing it, and I have to tell them, we need to have a discussion because y'all need to be more forthcoming. Why you acting like that? Why? I've never seen so many people trying to get people into initiation, and that really concerns me too. What are y'all doing? I just feel like you're manipulating or you're messing with somebody's spiritual energy, trying because you know damn well everybody's not supposed to be initiated. You know that. What are you getting out of there? Is some y'all, what are you doing with that? Because you got to remember when they get over there in Ifa and they get over there in Voodoo, again, they're exposed to the indigenous mysteries that they don't have in a book. A lot of their mysteries in occult sciences is passed on orally. So it would be hard for you to kind of really, and if you're not familiar with the sacrifices and in the way they do the rituals, it would be easy to deceive you because you don't have access to that type of knowledge. Because most of the time it's orally passed down from the priestess and priestess up there, and a lot of them gatekeep that. That's why I feel like that gatekeeping opens the door to manipulation because y'all don't put it in a book. You got these elders or whatever that don't want to see you rise in spirit. They can see these spirits want to open up gifts in you, and they know that there's certain rituals that can open up the gifts so you can have better communication with these spirits, and they won't do it. They'll gatekeep it. Same thing go over there with you see with your preacher. You have a preachers in there. They know this person is anointed. They know God got His hands on these people, and they would sit there and they would blackball them. They would give them a hard time. Just like that lady in that church, she got mad because that woman didn't hug her some type of way. So she gonna go in front of everybody and try to talk about the woman. But you can see the anointing on that lady. She kept her composure, hugged them people, and left that church. But that lady that was saying that, she knew that woman had an anointing. She could see the anointing on that girl like that. Okay, a lot of them they don't like that. Hello, Tina. They can see that on you like that. Don't you believe that they be seeing that stuff on you like that? They see the anointing on your life. They see these spirits. They see that light and those spirits, gathered around you like that. They can see it. Okay, you may not even see it. I remember that happened to me when I was in this church, in this Hebrew Israelite church, and of course I couldn't see the light, but everybody saw the light in me except me. Okay. And that church got to asking my mama, because you can't see yourself when you have these gifts. Other people can see it, but you can't see it. So they got to ask my mama all kind of questions. When I was born, was I conceived outside? And I was conceived outside on Pinnacle Mountain. And my mom said I didn't like that. They kept to ask me personal questions about you. They were trying to do something with your energy. I don't know what it was, but the questions that they were asking me, I didn't like that. They were asking me all kind of questions. Little did I know, this church, the woman in the church, again, was working magic. She was doing ancestral magic. And again, I was their target, tripped me out. I left that place and I went out of town, came back because my auntie had did a graduation party for me. Came back to that town, tripped me out. This is how egregores work or whatever was going to that church. When I got off that bus, them people were standing there and I hadn't seen them people in 2 years. But they was at the bus stop. My cousin was floored. She said, Penny, what the hell is wrong with these people? They followed us around town. They were so interested in me. Went to a reading one time and they came up in a reading. I don't know what they deal was with me. You may not know, and to me, I was like, I don't have nothing that y'all want. What the hell you want? Because I don't got nothing. What do you want? I don't have anything. I don't have anything. So what do you want? But they know whatever they want with you, they see it inside you. And still to this day, I don't know what them people wanted from me. I don't know why you follow me. It's just very weird to me. What is magic? Somebody says it's magic. Well, Jesus doing magic all the time. Jesus was doing magic all the time. No, magic ain't wrong. Conjure ain't wrong. Moses was doing magic all the time. It's magic all through that Bible. So I don't get it. They're calling it miracles, but it's magic. I don't care. Just because you call it another name don't mean that ain't what it is. We just got different names for it. We're doing the same thing, but you call it miracles. And you know, some people call it magic. Even when you see that in the hoodoo, a lot of people say, oh, it's magic. No, it's really science. But if your ancestors had taught you this, you will see that. You got other people on the outside calling it magic. But honey, you get over here and hoodoo and start doing work, you be like, hell no, this is not, is it magic? Because I just had to get up at 3 or 5 o'clock in the morning, 3 days in a row. On top of that, with a bath. Then I had to say these prayers and psalms, and then I had to go in here and shift the thing, get my mind together and all that. And then I got a breakthrough. Is it magic? Our ancestors had perfected to a science. I always call it science, the spiritual sciences. But these folks calling it magic. It look magic to them because they don't understand the unseen sciences. Yeah, it look magic. You can't see your mind. This is the magic of your mind. This is the power of your mind and your will. We're talking about frequency vibrations here. We're talking about thought forms here, intent and awareness. See, they don't have machines to measure this. They can't measure this, so yeah, they're gonna call it magic. Is the air magic? We can't see the air, but we know it's real, right? We can't see air, but we know air is real. Is it magic? Okay, that's just like fire. You can't hold fire; it's nothing solid. So is that magic? We can see it, cannot touch it because it's too hot. You can't pick it up and take it nowhere. It's not solid. So is that magic? So you start looking at nature and things in a whole different way when you start to understand the spiritual science of things. That everything is alive, everything has an energy, everything is animated, everything is alive. So is it really magic? You just, I would say, you know, in sciences, we go back and forth with this. They say it's magic because they can't measure the unseen sciences. They can't measure that. They don't have any tools for that. So they're going to call it quantum physics. They're going to call it metaphysics. But I tell you what, you best believe most of them in Freemasonries, and they're practicing this science that they call it magic. They're going to call it the occult sciences. Okay? It's work. Faith without work is dead. It is work. Okay? It is work. Believe me. I've been doing around here doing a lot of work. Okay, y'all can sit up here calling it magic, and here I am. No, that ain't what happened. No, that's not it. Because look here, I'm sitting up here working, I'm fasting, I'm praying, I'm reading these scriptures, I'm having a whole ritual over here. Okay, I'm using my energy over here. So is it really magic? And I just really don't. I think the term magic, again, uh, it gives people the idea they don't have to do no work. That's why I recommend, let's stop saying it like that. Let's stop coming here showing a candle and saying, "Oh, I did magic." No, the hell you didn't, girl. You didn't tell them people you was over there talking to your ancestors that you had to do this and you had to do that before you sit up there and light that candle. So let's just stop it. Cut it out. You're seeing the pretty part of it. You're not seeing the full context of how we got to that. You have to prepare yourself before you even start putting that stuff together. Prepare your mind and stuff. Okay. Then you might have to keep it ongoing and working. What you're going to keep? How you going to keep it ongoing and working? What kind of procedure you going to do? Okay. That's why you got lots of some people, they work jar magic. Okay, they took the jar, they did the bath and all that to do they get the work done. Go ahead and cleanse and get their self alignment. Okay, now they got the jar, they've burnt the candle on the jar is already set. And then what I've seen with our ancestors, when they get the jar, just like a sugar jar, you've already activated it. You already burnt the candle on it. Now you got to work that jar. What you gonna do? Every time you go in there, you got to shake that jar and start talking to that jar again, conjuring, speaking it into existence. That's working. You got to constantly keep working it until you see what you gonna see. Keep on working and working and working and working and working. You might have to pick that thing up 3 or 4 times a day and start talking to it again, conjuring it. That's work. You got to remember to pick that up throughout the whole week and start working with that thing until you start seeing it manifest. That's how you see our ancestors work a jar. They ain't gonna just sit it up there. They're gonna pick that thing up, start talking to the moon because it's a spirit now. Now you got to tell it what to do. Same thing with a mojo bag. You make that mojo bag. You don't just say, no, because you got to feed that bag. You got to talk to that bag. You got to let that bag know what's going on, how you appreciate the bag, because now the bag is a spirit now. So you got to keep the work ongoing. You got to keep it ongoing. So now you got to work and talk to that thing. You might have to do another ritual with that thing, depending on how your ancestors leading you to work with that bag or what your spirit is telling you. You just you because you got to take care of that bag. Again, it's ongoing work. I don't know who's telling you that. Yeah, it look like magic, but your words again, you every time you are talking and speaking to the thing, you're building the thought form. That spirit gets bigger and bigger and stronger and stronger and stronger. The more you quote the scripture and you quoting this scripture again, you're making the magic stronger and stronger and stronger because why? Your mouth is a portal, your tongue is a wand. That's right. And breath is in your breath is life. Anytime you breathe on something, go to praying on something like this, in the name of God, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. You got to pray. You bring it into life. God, it says God breathed life into man. Your breath is life. So once you start praying over your work, once you start praying over your tools, you bringing it to life. It's really that simple, you guys. Okay. And then when you start, a lot of people say, well, why do we use the Bible and all that? It's important for you to understand that we're not using the Bible uh, for a religion. We're not using that like that. We're using the Bible because of the words in there have psychic energy because our ancestors have said them so much. They have a high frequency vibration. So when we start saying those, some of those songs, not only are you saying them, your ancestors are standing there saying them with you too, because they have repeated those words, they have said those words, especially Psalms 23. It's got so much psychic energy in it, so much psychic power in it. When you start saying it again, you're accessing that spirit that is attached, that psychic energy, that spirit that's attached to those words again to create, create the magic you're whatever you're trying to do. Our ancestors already had they was going to use that. That's why you'll see people there write down a verse in there, and on top of the verse on their paper, they'll put down their petition. Why are they doing this? Again, they're just amplifying their petition when they put the scripture down there because it's already said in the scripture. That's the foundation of it. That's the faith of it. Okay, so you're placing your petition in that faith, in that psychic energy. Then we amplify it even more because if you work with me, I'm going to have you working with angels. What do angels do? Angels clear the path for your work to make sure your prayers are heard. Ancestors do the same thing. They make sure your work going to work. They don't have you out here blindly doing things. And if you working with angels, they're gonna make sure that's clear for you. There's ain't gonna be no static going on. That's why you want to be working with these angels. You want to be working with your ancestors when you're doing any kind of work, because they're gonna keep that clear. They're gonna make sure it's answered. There's no friction or anything going on. Because there's you also got energies too that try to steal your prayers. They try to again distort your prayers. And the ancestors and the angels or saints, they make sure that that doesn't happen. That the prayer is the petition is answered and it stays intact. That's not the point. Again, you have these spirits, and the way we understand our cosmology, God is other doing other things. This is why we have these spiritual helpers helping us access that God energy. That's why we understand. That's why we got these spiritual helpers. That's why we got uh you know that's why we got these spiritual helpers, the angels, the saints, the ancestors. That's why we got them, because they help us access that energy. They are what you call, people call them spiritual court, people call them guardians, but they are here to help you in your spiritual evolution. That's why they're there. Okay, that's why angels, they got to come. When you working with angels, it is take they got to come. That's why I don't I keep on. You have to have some tenacity when you working with these spirit, and you have to be a matter of fact. Because I have to tell them, you got to come. I don't care how long you take. I'm gonna still be here, and I'm gonna still keep calling your name. Come on, come on, come on. Because in the name of God, by the power of God, in my words, you got to come. And you know you got to come. And I'm not going to stop calling you until you come. I'm going to keep doing this ritual. I'm going to keep calling you down. And baby, they will come. You got to be like that with them. And then you have some angels, if you can't reach their frequency, some people, they go to working with saints. Hey, Deborah Braswell, they'll go to working with saints. 'Cause I don't know what's, I don't, everybody frequency vibration is different. And then you got some people that only work with specific archangels. They get an archangel they can work with, and they get an archangel, and that they find out that archangel can do a multitude of things. Or they start working with a saint, and they find out that the saint can do a multitude of things. You got some people too, people like to give her a bad rap, but you got some people love to work with Santa Muerte. They love working with her. Her devotees love her. Okay, they just, again, that vibration, that frequency, they work well with her. That's why we have a variety of different spirits uh that we can work with. Okay, Miss Penny, did my astro chart such as amazing friend highly recommend. Nova said she liked it her astro chart. She found it beneficial. I'm telling you, the astro charts, it'll get you right. You'll be surprised how accurate they are and get you right into where you need to be. So if that's something that you're interested in, an astro reading, please DM me. Let me put this in the and yeah, I hadn't even told y'all this, and I don't even know when I'm gonna do this, but I think this is Nathaniel. This guy named Nathaniel, he keeps getting my box and he wants me to do a live stream discussion with a guy. I forgot his name. He sent me this yesterday. I haven't reached out to him yet. He really wants me to have an open discussion with a guy that knows something about Obia. He specializes in African spiritual systems. So he wants me to have a discussion with him and see what he can tell me about Obia. But I don't think they can really, he's not really going to, again, be able to tell me much because I just know he's not going to be able to tell me much. Probably some of the same things the ancestors have told me. He probably going to confirm some of the things they have told me. Okay. So again, when you are again communicating with your ancestors, or you think, hey, I'm not going to be able to go into these different realms, yes, you can. You just again got to change your imagery, start building up your imagery. Turn off that TV. Go inside your mind and see what's in there. Because it's things in there. There's archetypes in there, there's landscapes in there, there's places in your mind. Especially when you go to uh you start dealing with angels. Instantly when I start working with ancestors, there's some ancestors that come to me and they look like angels. They are so bright. Okay. Would an ancestral reading tell us which angels are waiting to be called on? No, the way I address that with angels, I instantly start have you working with angels that's related to your sun sign. You got some angels that don't work good with Aquarius. They don't work good with water signs. You got some angels that vibe with different zodiac signs. So one of the things that I do, because we're getting ready to go into that again, when we're talking about archangels and accessing the elemental kingdom through the archangels, you can do that too. But the main thing that I do is again get you to talking to the archangel over your zodiac sign, or over a different planet or the planetary sign that your zodiac sign is over. I start getting you to work with them. Okay. If you're consistent at your rituals, and that's thing about rituals. If anybody a magician or a practitioner, if they've been practicing a long time, it is important for you to be doing these rituals with these spirits. Same thing with Oshun or any other deity. If you want to have contact with them, you have to be consistent. If they day is Thursday and they got an altar, you go there every Thursday. You need to go there every Thursday. You don't need at the same time. You need to be on time, consistent, because that's what these spirits look at. They look at consistency. They respond to consistency. They don't respond to that sometime thing when I get no, 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 no. You have to make the time to, because that is the price. Okay, that is the price that you're paying. Your time. You got more time than money, right? So you're gonna have to again spend your time, that devotion with them. They see you. The more consistent you are with serving them, putting things on there that they like, and just sitting and listening, the better that communication is going to be. As I said, you can't come over here shucking and jiving with these spirits if you ain't real. That's why when I see a lot of young people go into initiation like that, and some of them ain't even 30 or 40 years old, you don't need to be over there. You really don't. You really need to be living your life. It used to be a time you had to be a certain age to go in this certain thing. Now, maybe you want to do magic or you want to perfect, really build on your spiritual path. But going into initiation like that with all that commitment like that, I don't recommend it. There's so much wisdom to be gained before you jump over there in initiation like that. So many things you need to learn first before you jump over there. That's just my take on that. And even in our ancient sciences, it was a certain age we had to be before we would be exposed to uh different sciences. I just don't recommend it. Okay, I don't recommend that, and especially the way they're trying to pull us in. That's like the new. I've never just seen that before. This is the first time in this era, though, I've seen so many of them trying to pull people into initiation. Now, most of them, when they first, from my experience, most of them was asking you, "Do you need an Odu?" They'll probably ask you that, or they will ask you, "Do you need prayer?" Because they're priests and priestess now. They're supposed to be promoting spiritual wellness, not to convert you, but to be of service to you. Okay, they're supposed to be of service to you. Their job is again to work with the community. Same thing when you see Obia. Them people, they magical gifts was tied to helping the community. Most of the powers that they had was because the ancestors put it in them to heal and help the community. That empowered them even more when they were using these gifts and talents and things for their people, because it wasn't them that was doing it. It was the spirit that was working through them. See, they understood this. I don't know what's going over there now. I don't know what's happening over there. I don't even have words for what's going on over there. Again, you'll see some of this with Inception. They told you that in the movie Inception, how they was jumping in on people's dreams and patching dreams and stuff like that. They are letting you know what it is. It is your imagination. I have bought things out of my dreams. I wouldn't have believed it. I wouldn't have believed this had I not been bringing things out of my dreams. Okay, and then the most profound uh meditation visualization experiences I have had. They got you they got us trusting what we see on a TV, and you don't even trust your inner vision. But you trust what's on that damn TV, don't you? But you don't trust what's in your inner vision. Now, I'm not gonna play that with you, okay? Because if you come over there with me and you get to I had another practitioner, and she started, she was telling me about her experience, and she started to doubt herself. I said, "No, you will not. We're not going to start there. We're not going back to the beginning again. You just said what you saw, right? You just said what you saw. That's what it is. That's what that is. Stop trying to talk yourself out of what just happened. That just happened. You just saw that. You just seeing that. And now you finna talk yourself out of what just happened. Uh-uh. This needs to become normal to you, because this how spirits talks. Stop trying to say you're making stuff up. Try again, because the logical mind, again, you have to program that thing to stay out the way, because this is what's really happening. Because they done told us we ain't got this disability. You have to remind yourself, yes, it is. It's innately in me, and now I trust it. Write it down, document it, and you will start seeing. You be like, damn, I can't make this up, because this is actually happening. What do you recommend for dream interpretation and dream remembering and dreams more? Oh my God, that girl, the story of my life. Story of my life, honey. Sometimes I know I have some dreams I can specifically remember, and I know the ancestors is trying to tell me, especially if I'm engaged in ritual and I dream. I tend to remember those dreams if I'm engaged in ritual, a real strong ritual, and I've been at it for a couple of days. I remember those dreams. But some dreams I have, girl, they just disappear like damn smoke. I be so damn mad. I be trying to know how you like. If I could grab them, I could grab them back down in my head, girl. I don't know what to tell you about that. Now I know one thing that kind of helped me. Uh, uh, yep, that show had me. I be so damn mad. I be like, oh my God, you're fading away. You're fading away. Come back, come back, come back, come back, come back. And then sometimes I can write down little small things that happen in a dream, and then again, it'll start flooding my memory and it'll come back. It just all depends, you know. Those dreams are just so tricky. But what can help you is blue lotus tea. Uh, some people make mugwort tea or they smoke mugwort. Um, lately I've been using that. I didn't think it was gonna do that. What is that? That blue PT. Again, because it's blue and purple, it would be good for opening up the third eye, working with the third eye. And I have noticed that my dreams become vivid since I've been drinking that tea. But drinking those teas like that, that'll help as well. And of course, they have other things that people do. People that to get messages. Some people do shrooms. It just all depends on you and where your ancestors gonna lead you. Okay, but I know that blue lotus helps. That mugwort helps. Um, Sometime ritual might help. Ritual might help if you're trying to remember a dream. And sometimes I use my tarot cards to do dream interpretation sometimes. You know, it just got you're gonna have to find out what works for you because it's your mind. So you're gonna have to figure out what really works for you. But I'm telling you, honey, that is the most trickiest thing for me. I don't have that figured out. 'Cause I still be, honey, I be so damn mad. I'm like this. I said, you gonna give me a dream and the damn dream's fading away like smoke, Lord. Why would you do me like that? You so damn mad. I'd be so damn mad. I said, why is it like this? Y'all put us in these damn bodies. You done put us in these damn bodies, and you know damn well, you know, y'all gonna have to change this. Y'all done put us in these damn bodies, and we can't, you know, the spirit can't do what it need to do in this damn body. Y'all gonna have to do better. You know, that's just how I be talking to the spirit sometimes. Just ordered the blue lotus tea, and I would try mugwort. Thank you. 'Cause sometimes, you know, that's how I got deep into it. I just start smoking lavender. I started smoking lavender. I would make my own little smoke blend and put in mugwort and drink blue lotus tea. And I noticed that my dreams would be very, very vivid, and I can remember them that way. But hey, yeah, they didn't put cheap antennas on us. You sure they lying. Space, you they should have put the. You be like, damn, y'all to put us in these damn bodies and then tell us we supposed to remember we done did this and did that. Y'all got to do better with these bodies because I'm this. Hey, it's hard. It's hard. That's why I say I have to talk to the ancestors a lot because I said y'all done had bodies before. Some of these spirits, like archangels and all them, they ain't never. Some of them ain't never been human, so they don't understand. So I can go over there to the ancestors and they understand. I'm like, you know, I ain't get there. You know, I'm in this human body. You know, I'm doing the best I can. You know, so they'll have a bit of sympathy for me and start lining some things up for me. But some of these angels and stuff, they go telling you stuff. I had that one angel to come in my dream and gave me this paper. I said, now what is this? He you know, just told me don't open my paper, honey. I had to go back to the ancestors. I had to go back to the ancestors and say, hey, I didn't even get that. They was like, well, why don't you talk to Elect Bud? Because he's the Lord of all communication. You want to talk to any spirit to understand anything, you're going to have to talk to him. And again, they have him pulling up on me. There's nothing that I do. It's nothing that I do. Okay? I go talk to them. And they would tell me, okay? They have, and then as soon as they told me that, he started coming up in my dreams. We'll send you to talk. We'll send Papa Legba to talk to you about it. I can't make this stuff up. Okay, I just can't. They're just telling you my experience, and they line it up. Now, I can't tell you like I tell people. You get over here in hoodoo and start venerating your ancestors and honor your ancestors, and really to following their wisdom. They get to pouring knowledge into you and showing you things. I can't tell you where they're gonna take you. Okay, I don't know where they're gonna take what they want you to know. I don't know if they're gonna have you working with the Orishas or the Lords, the Hindu gods. I don't know. Only they know. And I can't tell you they wrong because if the ancestors told you to do it, it must that's what they want you to do. So we need spiritual translator. Yep. Yep. Can't handle the spiritual message yet. Okay. And then keep it simple too. I think a lot of people get over here in divination. or you start a commune with your ancestors, and y- keep it simple. Okay, that's just like what when I was we did our divination workshop. I tell them all, keep it simple. Don't do no 10 card spread. You shouldn't be overdoing a 5 card spread. You can get a lot of information with 5 cards. That's all you need. You're gonna get so much information with that, a yes or a no, and what you need to do. Don't complicate that. The simpler you keep your divination, the clearer the communication gonna be. Keep it simple. Do not start shuffling and if you can learn spreads, keep the spreads are just like dialing a specific number. They have a lot of spreads out there. So when you use spreads, again, the communication is going to be clear versus you just throwing out cards and asking questions. Don't do that because you're going to confuse yourself. Do not do that. Have your mind together because you have these cards, these spirits are responding to your thoughts and the frequency that you're running on right now. You ain't gonna do nothing but throw yourself in a a state of confusion. Keep it simple. It doesn't have to be. I don't care what you're seeing on here. These people coming out with these cars and doing all that. It look crazy to me because all y'all doing the same thing. I know something wrong because they don't go like that. Okay. So again, keep it simple. Stop trying to be like other people. Your readings ain't supposed to look like other people. My readings don't look like other people. It don't. I would be afraid if my readings look if I read like everybody else because it's not supposed to be. It's personal to me. It is my own style of reading. Everyone has their own style of reading. Okay, and if you're doing tarot or any tarot, keep it simple. Some people start with pendulums of dowsing rods. You can start that way, but keep your divination simple to keep your lines of communication clear. I can't emphasize that enough to you. Okay, and if you want to move on to tarot cards, then you can do that. Some people do that. They move on to throwing bones and all that. As you strengthen your divination, your communication with your ancestors, you probably want to move on to another divination system. But keep it simple. Do not complicate that because they ain't gonna do nothing but confuse you. And when they spirits telling you no, take that as a no, and then ask your spirits, what can you do to shift that? What can I do? What can I do to shift? If I do such and such and such, what happens? Change the question. If you're not satisfied with the answer, just change the question. What if I do such and such and such? How would that happen? The reading change once your question change, your mind change, the reading change. Because again, all of this is consciousness. I hope that makes sense to you. I think a lot of people miss the imagination when you get into spirituality, but that is going to be that's going to facilitate your communication with spirits. And no, you ain't making it up. And I think that's the most important. I think we need to empower people more around that part. Give you more confidence in that part. That's what's needed right now. To have you trusting in the power of your mind. That is what's really needed. Once you get that empowerment and start trusting that your mind are making these connections and links, then you can have a better foundation in your practice. And I think that is the problem. And I wish more people will come here and share those type of experiences. And they're sharing it in the Bible when they tell you, I seen God and he came from it. They're telling you about a mystical experience they had in meditation, deep contemplation. A lot of these prophets and stuff. You listen to because I looked, I said, ancestors, God, this look like they are having uh they in the ayahuasca ceremony or they're having a sort of they're into a deep meditation state. Because I don't think a lot of it is not real. They're going into a different realm, the spiritual realm. Who said that? I think somebody, I don't know if that was Paul or somebody. One of the prophets said, I don't know if I saw it in a dream or a vision, but I know I saw it. And you'll get like that when you start accessing the spiritual realm. I have been sitting up doing something, and then a song or something come on, and I'm triggered to go. I go deep into a vision. The ancestors start showing me stuff. in my inner eye. And sometimes I'm having visions while I'm while I work. I can't tell you if it was a vision or a dream. How I remember that. That's when you know you have an active. You really your inner eye, your third eye is very active, and you're getting messages. But if you're having problems visualization and imagination, turn off that TV and start looking at images and books and stuff, and start building that spiritual realm up, because you can control the experience. And the mind automatically knows how to do it. It does it. Somebody start telling you a story. What do? You automatically start imagining. You automatically start. Y'all love story time on TikTok. Y'all love, why? Because again, it sparks your imagination. You are already visualizing. And that is exactly what you're going to need when you start going into the spiritual realm. And you'll start to see too. You would think, oh, your realm is different from somebody else, until you start talking to other people, and you'll realize that y'all are sharing similar realities, similar kind of realms. That's like when you see the world tree, okay? In shamanism, you got the upper world, the middle world, and the lower world. We all share that same tree. We all share that same cosmology. So when we go into meditation, some of us are seeing a similar sort of realities, because the archetype is created. Trust the mind is going to do what it's going to do. Your mind is very powerful, very, very, it's amazing. You're not going to see it. I think too, dive into a little psychology, because Carl Jung talks about this. He talks about how these realities are in us like that. This is not emphasized enough. It needs to be emphasized when you start talking about magic, the occult, and the mysteries, because this again, it's the catalyst to your work. You got to have your mind right in this work. You are so right. Imagination is our God given free will, because demons cannot create. Okay, so your imagination is important. You want to make sure you're feeding it right. Like I said, you have occultists. They teach this in the Freemasonry. These people already know how to go in their mind and build these temples. They got a whole temple, a church where they go in and do magic. They got herbs and all, like just like Doctor Strange with Shambhala. Shambhala is not a real place, but it is real through the imagination. Now it's not a egregor. Now people can go there and visit, because it's an living and breathing entity and city upon its own. Just like High John the Conqueror. High John the Conqueror was not a real spirit until our ancestors started talking about him and personifying him. Now he's a real anthropomorphic spirit that we can call on in our work, connected with High John, the plant. Now the plant has a real spirit that is over, again, a egregore in hoodoo that we can call on in our work. Same thing that you would do with a mojo bag. When you make that mojo bag wasn't alive at first, but then you start putting stuff in, herbs in it, talking to it, all that stuff, and blowing smoke on it, and whisking stuff on it, and then you done gave it a name. Now that mojo bag is a whole spirit working for you. You see, kind of that we're gonna get over there that too. And to understand this more about mojo bag, I like talking about servitors, because when you look at servitors and you're looking at some of these doll babies and stuff, and you look at servitor, the way a servitor of function would be the same way a doll baby or a mojo will function. It's almost the same way. See, I'm gonna take you in there. I'm gonna break it down the whole science. You're not gonna be confused about anything. Okay? Your imagination, so it's more powerful than what you think. That is going to be the thing. Playing cards works fine, and finding use of universal patterns. Yeah, playing cards work too. A lot of people like using playing cards. Our ancestors used playing cards before tarot cards came into play. They used bones and dice and all that for divination. Dowsing rods, okay, pendulums, okay. So again, your imagination. I can't tell you that enough. I think you know you're doing it. You're probably doing it, and you're probably not trusting your inner eye. Trust your inner eye. That is the answer. I love watching cartoons because again, animation really opens up my imagination and let it flow. I love watching cartoons because it reminds me of the spirit realm. That's the reason why they call it animation. Okay, they let you know right off the top. It is again connected with the spiritual realm by calling it animation. That's what they call life, ain't it? Animation, movement. Okay. Now another good thing again when you're doing your magic, when you're tapping into things, and I think people leave that out, and you think it's not had to do nothing to do with it. It is important that you have great emotional regulation. This is why I recommend shadow work. That again, that nervous system needs to be under control. It has to be under control because again, that is how you're going to be sensing and reaching in vibrations and frequencies with your emotions. They play a big part too. And music is a good way to shift that if it's helping you regulate your emotions and tap into joy, love, happiness, and success. Music has the power to do that. But at some point, you're going to have emotional regulation. You got to have it. You got to know when to, again, disperse those emotions. You got to have some of us have poor emotional regulation. I get it. I had it. I had to calm my nervous system, stay on some chamomile, some valerian root, some lavender. Uh, I had to work on it. Dive in the shadow work. Pause when I'm triggered and be like, why am I triggered? Why am I pissed off? What's going on here? I had to do a lot of pausing with that emotional regulation because a lot of us have been trained to emotionally react. You won't know it until you're triggered and you be like, okay, this made me want to get out of pocket. Why I want to get out of pocket? What's going on here? Again, because again, you're trying when you start to regulate your emotions and change your again, have control of your imagination, your inner world starts to manifest in the outer world, and that's what we want. But we got to do some regulation. Got to really regulate those emotions. We got to be able, to do that. And I know it's hard to do. I know it's hard. You don't have to tell me. I know. That's why, until you start being careful about who you being around, what you're exposing yourself to, because you don't want anything to knock you off alignment, out of balance. There's certain things I just won't listen to. I don't want to hear that because that put me in. I don't want to do it. I know I need to have myself in alignment so when I go to do my magic, I ain't got nothing, no blockages in my way. Okay. And it ain't your fault that a lot of us have poor emotional regulation. You got a lot of things that happen to us that created high anxiety in our nervous system. We're constantly living in a high anxiety environment. And so it's going to take you a minute to get control of those, e- regulate those emotions. But once you start to regulate those emotions and you're able to move them in your work, you're going to see a lot of success in your work. But that's the most important thing you can have in your work. A lot of people dismissing this is emotional regulation. Thank you, Tina. Hey, baby. EFT for emotional regulation. That can help too. Whatever it's going to help you. Chakra balancing, whatever you need to do to get that under control. EFT, music therapy, color therapy, I don't care what you're doing, get that under control because that's your power. That's your vibration and frequency. And if you can go in and do your magic already in a state of gratitude and joy, it moves it a lot quicker. We don't want to go in there with the energy of begging, of despair, or dread. We don't go in there with that. Okay. And the easiest way to help you, if you know a song that is going to get you in a highly spiritual state of consciousness, play that song. Sometimes I play that song over 4 or 5 times just to make sure I'm deeply in that frequency and that vibration. Okay. Well, that's going to get me into those higher states of consciousness and shift me, because that's where I'm trying to go to get some work done. You have the power to do it. Take advantage of your music. Take advantage of looking at beautiful images, because when you're able to look at images, you're, again, what's going to happen there is, when you start meditating, your mind is going to already start creating those landscapes for you. They're ruining it now with this virtual reality and video games and all that stuff. They are ruining your own virtual reality that is already inside of you. So know when, like I said, when our ancestors was telling us these stories, they were already implanting the archetypes in us. Some of them are already in you. Okay. Go back and listen to my meditation that's on YouTube. It's probably gonna fascinate you, because you're gonna be like, this, you're probably gonna be like, she took me somewhere else. Yeah, I took you somewhere else. I took you to the ancestors. I took you to the land of the ancestors. That's what I did with that meditation. Same thing you can see too. What is that they do now? Past life regression. You can kind of see some of that with past life regression. Most of this is going to be with your mind. If your mind is strong, your magic is going to be strong. If you have good emotional regulation, the more success you're going to have with tapping into those frequencies to move your magic along. You don't have to do it alone. You have music, you have conjure your mouth, open up your mouth, you have your imagination. Okay, you got your ancestors, you got saints, you got archangels. So you have plenty of spiritual allies and helpers in helping you go into those spiritual realms. You just need to know that you have this in you. Do some psychological. I think, like I said, Carl Jung. When I looked at his work on shamanism and how we already have these archetypes in us, and all we got to do is sit still and tell our mind to do it, it'll start doing it. It'll trip you out. You be like, oh my God, my mind is doing this. Yes, it's doing it. But you never sat still with yourself long enough to tell your mind to do it. The mind is that thing ain't supernatural, and it's God itself. That's what it is. But see, you don't know that. Okay, they keeping you distracted with a whole bunch of rigmarole bull crap that don't make no difference, and they want to keep you disconnected from your own inner reality and your own magic. Now I understand why our ancestors got mad, because they invented their TV. They was like, hell no, that thing. Some ancestors didn't even want to watch it. Okay, many of them like hearing the stories on the radio, because again, their inner vision was much better than watching the TV. Remember, there was a time that they didn't watch TV. They had to listen to stories and stuff on the radio. So they had to sit there and, again, go into their imagination. It's very, very powerful. Okay. You'll have more faith in your magic if you can get this together. I promise you. Now, over there in our community, I know my community was just like, damn, Miss Penny, you done went over our minds so many times. Damn, Miss Penny, you done gave us some more stuff for healing. Yeah, I'm giving you the outlets because I know how important it's gonna be for you to have a solid practice. Your mind and your emotional regulation is gonna be essential. Okay, that's why I'm giving you this. I mean, we must have went over thoughts. We went over affirmations. I'm going over, and I know that people saying in there, Miss Penny don't have nothing to do with anything. Yes, it do. It has everything to do with everything, because we trying to reprogram our whole mind, body, and spirit. These folks have got us cut off. You understand how this works? Okay, so you go over there in our community. I'm going to give it to you all. It just does no good for somebody to be showing you a spell to introduce you to hoodoo, and hoodoo is so much more. It ain't doing no service to it. And can you ask angels to help carry clear the burdens from emotional dysregulation as well? Well, what's going to happen when you start working with angels, because you're going to see a shift in your mood. All that stuff going to start moving out. That's why I have you working with angels. They automatically start the residual effect of working with angels is they start regulating your emotions and clearing out your mind. That is the byproduct. When you start working with higher frequencies, you'll be able to entertain more higher thoughts. You won't even think like other people. That's why I used to wonder why people would do that to me. They would ask me something, and I would say I would surprise myself because I just thought everybody was like this. But I would say the most profound stuff, and people be looking at me. They be like, "Where you from? Where you from?" I'm like, "I'm from here." You don't talk like you from here. Okay, but once you start working with these archangels and these saints, again, because you're using your mind to do it, and what happens there, your mind goes to a high frequency. And once you start dealing with these angels, you'll notice that your thought patterns, you'll be thinking on a higher frequency. You won't be entertaining lower vibrational thoughts that much. That will really help me with affirmations. Affirmations, they really work. I have a book over there called Mirror Workbook, where I get you to healing on yourself and doing mirror work and pouring love into yourself. Because hoodoo is about self care. Okay, you got to have that. You got to pour into yourself to be able to get stuff moving. And I remember doing that book. I love doing affirmations because you doing them consistent. Within 2 weeks, you'll start seeing the difference in your thinking. So I was doing these affirmations. I was like, I love you. I love myself. Looking in the mirror. When the mirror really solidifies it. You really want to tap into your magic. Start saying affirmations in the mirror. Something just happens. I don't know. I was just like, damn, I believe this. I know this, like in my spirit. It just something happens when you do it in the mirror. But I remember doing those affirmations. I was doing those affirmations. We were writing down affirmations. And one day I just got up and just listened to your mind what it be on. Listen to your mind when you get up and what it be on. Because my mind was stuck on some bull crap. I'm gonna tell you right now, there was so much garbage in there. I said, what the hell going on in there? I don't like the way it looked in there. I didn't like the way it looked in there, the things that was going on in my mind, the thoughts that was being repeated. So I don't like that. And so when I got to working on again, 'cause you got to nourish your mind. Your mind is just like a garden. You got to nourish it. You got to work on it, baby. You got to be intentional about what you're working on there, okay? And so one day I got up, and again I'm listening to my mind, what's going on in there, and I heard myself say, "I love you. I love you, Penny. What you gonna do today? I love you. You gonna have a good day today." I said, "What the hell?" Again, the record changed in my mind. Now my mind is saying something different. You have to program, and now my thoughts different. When somebody tried to brag, my daughter, she was trying to, get me to be negative. I said, I can't do that with you because I don't think that way. I'm not going to participate in thinking negative with you because I know what the ancestors can do. I know what God can do. I know that we have angels at our arms lengths ready to help us. So I'm not going to entertain that. I'm not going to do that with you. It was making her mad. It's making her mad. She didn't like that. I said, well, "Do you want me to be like I used to be? Poor emotional regulation and spinning out of control? No, I have to stay in a state of peace to be able to access these higher frequencies. Because once you go drop your vibration like that, it's going to be hard for you to get back. You got to be able to meet them at that higher frequency. And if you drop too low, again, that's when you get confused, you get worried, you feel disconnected. And we don't want to get in the state of fear of worry because it disconnects you. And I know that's not where it is. I know the more I reach for these higher frequency, the more likely I'm going to make contact, and I know my prayer is going to be answered. See, okay. I know and there's a lot of people get in here and say it's hard, Miss Penny. It is hard until you start doing your shadow work and really looking at what's going on. Then you'll be able to reach those frequency. But the shadow work and all that goes a lot better and happens a lot quicker. You can move out a lot of more things if you're working with the saints or angels. They're gonna help you clear that out. Okay. How do you know what angels to work with? Like I told you, the ones I'm going to recommend you to work with is probably going to be you're going to be the archangel over your zodiac because I know you're going to work well with that. Okay. Now, as you got go on, I don't know what your ancestors gonna have you doing because you're gonna learn ancestral communication. You're gonna learn divination. That's the most important thing you need to learn in hoodoo for anything. Before you start doing spells and all that stuff, you need to learn ancestors communication, be healing that bloodline, and divination. And if you're gonna be doing anything in the hoodoo, you need to be doing it on you. You ain't gonna know them spiritual baths gonna come in handy when you start removing blocks and stuff trying to heal yourself. You gonna that's when you gonna really learn your magic when you work it on you. When you following ancestors and they telling you go over there and bathe in some olive oil and hyssop. Go in there and bathe in some rose oil and some rue. When they telling you, you gonna see how that water, how them water spirits help you and heal you. You gonna see the power of your voice when you go to praying over water and all that stuff, trying to heal yourself and calling on the ancestors. You gonna see. You gonna see too. This ain't really no magic. It sure ain't, cause you had to call on your ancestors and everything that was holy to get you right, to tap into your magic. Honey, you gonna really know how it worked then, because you're gonna be calling on your ancestors, calling on the angels, calling on God to help you fix you. Get your mind and your spirit right, honey. You're gonna need that stuff. And I know that's how I did, honey. I reaching for all people. I know that was healing them in my circle. Some of them was reaching for Reiki, some of them was reaching for yoga. I started reaching for hoodoo. I said, oh no, no, no. I started looking at hoodoo and how it can heal me and looking at them roots and herbs and water spirits and fire. And I said, I'm using this to heal me. I don't know what this is what I'm doing. Meditation, journey work. You're gonna need a spiritual healer to spirit, that's why you see a lot of people that heal from a lot of trauma and all that stuff. Most of them gonna go into spiritual healing. Because them doctors ain't gonna treat that. They're gonna treat your body, the symptoms of the sickness of your mind and spirit, but they're not gonna treat your mind and spirit. You're gonna have to feed and nourish your mind and spirit. You're gonna have to heal that. You're gonna need that. Okay. You really gonna need that. So your mind is the most. I know these people showing you stuff up here, but honey, if your mind and you got ain't intact and your emotions not intact and you ain't got no clear emotional clear ancestral connection, that stuff ain't moving and shaking and doing nothing. I don't care what they telling you. I'm telling you for a matter of fact. Okay. And if you follow the ancestors, they gonna tell you things don't nobody else know. They're gonna show you magic ain't nobody else doing. Okay. And it's gonna be simple. You ain't gonna need no glitter, no whole bunch of cinnamon cloves and all this stuff, throwing stuff. You ain't gonna need that. It's gonna be something so simple and it's going to work. And the magic that these people showing you, this is what their ancestors showed them. This is the magic of their mind, the way they comprehend their magic. That's why you will have some of that stuff will work for people and some people it won't work for. When your ancestors show you something or guide you to do something, it's gonna work. And it may not make no sense. Just like that lady said, you ask your ancestors, what should I do? They might tell you, sweep. You said, what? Get up and sweep. Like that, sweep. And then you sweep and it fix everything. It be something simple like that. It be something that simple. Or put salt in that corner right there. Or put that salt in that water and shake it up. And put it over here. It'd be something so simple. It ain't gonna be complicated. These people think they got to go out and go buy a whole bunch of herbs and all this stuff. I have been working some fire magic just with some sugar. That's all I got. Just with some sugar. I've been working some fire magic with some sugar, y'all. I ain't been out about nothing with a secondhand jar. Secondhand jar. I've been working some miracles with that. You understand me? It don't take all that. The magic is you and the ancestors. That's it. There's herbs helps too. There's sugar that the energy in the sugar helps too. Okay, you got these spirits that's tied to the herbs that's helping you too. That's all you need. Remember, you got spirits that's tied to these herbs, to salt, to pepper, to sugar. Okay, some of these best magic comes from the tears and prayers. That too, because they'll have you praying. You get that too. You think you need to be doing some type of magic. They say, no, you need to be praying. You need to do some character work. You need to work on your conjure. You need to learn how to use your mouth. That's your problem. You don't know talk about what's going on with you. You ain't calling down power. We need you to open your mouth. We want you to do nothing but pray and want you to work on your character. That's it. You'll have that too. Okay? Sometimes I ain't got to do a lot of work, but when I know I got to do some work or whatever, I'm already start preparing myself and asking for guidance and asking for their assistance because I know it's not going to work without their support. I have a question regarding doctors if suffer from anxiety and ADHD, would that recommend meds? Like I tell people, take the meds. Please take the meds. Take the meds. But you know what I want you to do on top of that? Take I want you to drink chamomile. I want you to drink lavender tea. I want you to uh again work on uh meditations that help you regulate your emotions, because if you have ADHD and anxiety, what happens with us is we feel emotions very intensely. And so we want to work on trying to again work on that intensity, trying to shift that in another way, and how, especially when it's negative emotions, people with ADHD or ADD or anxiety, and people look at us be like, "Oh my gosh, they think we have an exaggerated reaction when really we feel emotions more intensely than some people. And so what I find is that, really start doing some meditation regulation and breath work. I have gotten to the point. I remember when I had to slow down my mind and regulate my emotions. And I know this sounds crazy. I had to talk to myself. I'm picking up the keys. I'm going to the car. I'm walking to the car. I'm sitting in the car. I'm turning the car on. I feel okay. I'm looking outside. Again, I was grounding myself back in my body and then regulating myself. You might have to do that sometime. With children with ADHD, you probably want them meditating or getting them involved in something that they're interested in. It's something that they're interested in. It's going to help regulate them. Whatever they're interested in, you want to get them involved in that. Okay? It's going to help them. Again, I just noticed that, if you have autism, some people have autism on top of it, or they neurodivergent. Again, these people feel emotions a lot more intensely. So, that's all that trauma, all that stuff that happened to us that's in our bloodline. Again, emotional regulation, learning how to sit with things, or learning, really throwing yourself into interest or getting interested in art or in crafts. You never know too, because you get down here and you start doing something spiritual. People go into singing, they go into drawing, they go into making jewelry, they go into, again, because you're accessing that spiritual realm. And so when you access that spiritual realm, they might have you writing poems, they might have you drawing, they might have you making jewelry. They might have you making conjure supplies. They might have you make growing a garden. You just don't know. But all of these things are going to have a healing effect on your nervous system. I know to deal with my anxiety, and it gave me more peace. I started making jewelry. I started coloring. I started painting. That was the therapy to my anxiety and helped me regulate my emotions. Okay. And again, it helps you get in contact with your inner child. So all of these things can be byproducts and ways to provide therapy, uh, holistic therapy for yourself. You can even sit in nature. That's exactly what I've been doing lately. Okay. Again, getting those emotions regulated. Got to get there because these people, they play with us, our emotions so much. They do it with politics, they do it with celebrities. They're always manipulating our emotions. Uh, they love things that emotionally charge. Okay, and so you have to get a hold of your emotions and learn how to regulate them and know when they're being manipulated. Artwork, making jewelry, and painting. All those things again, and getting your mind immersed in creativity. Because every time you get immersed in creativity and things like that, you're coming in contact with the spiritual realm. Every time you're making art, doing jewelry, making things, you're coming in contact with the spiritual realm because it's a realm full of creativity and imagination. I had one girl, this woman, she could knit her butt off. This woman, she could knit some earrings. She was just knitting earrings, earring sets, and she's, you can tell the inspiration on her. She said she got up one night and that she sleep one night and she had created another pattern. The spirits had showed her another pattern that she can knit and make these earrings, and she got up that morning knitting that. Again, she started seeing patterns in her sleep. I do music and poetry. I draw a lot, doing long conversations. Again, you're tapping into the spiritual realm. Poetry, drawing, writing, all of these things again tap you into the spiritual realm. Okay, and also too is going to help you because that was the master. This anxiety, I don't like it. And it says, so well, you need to start coloring. Start coloring and painting and making jewelry, and it start to soothe me. And I start coming up again. I start accessing more creativity and how I wanted to design things and do things. Again, you tap into your creative potential. You tap into your God self when you start doing these things. Okay, very very important. I don't think a lot of people talk about this. You want to hurry up and get to frequency real quick. You want to hurry up and shift things. I recommend that you get you a playlist that's going to take you to a higher state of consciousness. Get you a playlist going. Get you some write down these affirmations and start saying them out loud, calling in these energies in your life. See, a lot of us, we using our mouth for the wrong thing. We don't know how to use our mouth. We don't know how to use our mouth to heal ourselves, to heal our life. And that's why too, when you get over here, you get your ancestors start leading you, they have you being quiet. Because you don't know how to use your mouth. They just have you shut up. You be wanting to say something so bad, they make you forget your thought. Be quiet. We don't want you saying nothing. What for you to say that? That's why you forgot. Be quiet. Okay, you get that a lot for them. This is true. Whenever I would follow a herb recipe, it would be terrible. But if they made up a recipe from instinct, it would be amazing. See there? Look at California Forever 444. Stop following people's stuff because the intuition, your ancestors are speaking to you through your instincts and intuition. Stop following people. I just wish they wouldn't do it. I wish they wouldn't come here and show you. I'm not gonna show you that. Cause I know your magic gonna look different. I don't know how your ancestors want you to do your magic. I don't know what they want for you. I don't know that. What I'm gonna do is get you over there with them and start talking to them and showing, giving you a medium to talk to them with. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay? I'm gonna have you talking to them. And if you tell me you gonna do something, you tell me what you gonna do. I be like, and most people telling me my ancestors told me to do that. I said, well, do it. Do it. I'm not here. I'm not want you following me. I want you to follow your ancestors. Now, if you tell me my ancestors tell me to do this, and I'm say do it. And most times you're gonna come back telling me, Miss Penny, that worked. Because you was looking for me to give you an answer. But instead I told you to do it. If you gonna come back to me and say, Miss Penny, it worked. It worked. I know it did because your ancestors told you to do it. That's why it worked. And then here you is come up here telling asking me to tell you what to do. That ain't no. Your ancestors already told you what to do. Okay. Now, most of the books that we got over there, these books that you're looking at, they give you an idea of how to form your work and how it works. That's what I tell other people. Okay. You can use that, but before you even use that, ask your ancestors how they want you to do the work. They may not want you to do it exactly like that person telling you. Tell them what you want to do. And before you know it, they'll be trying to you'll be coming up with creative ideas on how to do it. It might look exactly like that person, or it might look a little different, but it's going to be the same work. Does that make sense? Okay. So do not sleep. I have to tell the people, our community, that again, because the mentorship that you really, really need is to know that you have this inside you, that your imagination is going to be the vehicle to the spiritual realm. And the mentor, again, should be encouraging you to lean into that. Because the more you lean into that, the more confident you're going to be in your work. And a lot of people is not telling you that. I'm going to tell you that though. Okay? That's why I'm here telling you that. Now you ain't making it up, because your logical mind sit there and convince you you just made that up. You know that didn't happen to you. That's all them people in the church and stuff that told you that you can't do that. That's where that's coming from. Get that out your mind. Matter of fact, if that's going on, I need you to work a little bit harder on getting that out your mind. Okay, I need you to get that out your mind, because that's the lies that's been told to you. That ain't true. Okay. Especially you sit down, you think about that. You couldn't have made that up. I had to tell my other and she done told me what happened. She said, "Well, Miss Penny, now I think about doing." She started second guessing. Do you think I made that up? I said, "Hell no. You're gonna stop that right now. Stop it. You just told me what happened, and what happened. Ain't no way you can make that up. Do you think you're that smart to make that up? It had to be your ancestors tell you, because ain't no way you can come up with that on your own. You just starting your journey. Ain't no way that you could know the answer to that without a spirit or your ancestors telling you. So stop thinking that you made it up. What if your mom tell you not to do hoodoo? Please help me with this. She against it because you telling her hoodoo, but she probably doing hoodoo already. They didn't call it that. I think we make a mistake when we start telling them what we doing and hoodoo. Stop telling them that. Because that's not what they call it. They're doing it. A lot of them doing it, but they ain't calling it that. And when they hear hoodoo, because they got somebody else naming their spiritual practice, a lot of them, and a lot of them didn't call it that. Okay. And so in their mind, when you telling them hoodoo, they thinking witchcraft. Don't tell her that. Okay. Stop telling her that. Don't even tell her that. They was already doing it, and they weren't calling it that. That's why I tell you to be careful what you learn from my damn mistake, honey. I told them folks that them folks got mad at me. It's not later until I, went on. Ancestors said because they didn't call it that, and they getting offended and thinking you accusing them of witchcraft when you tell them that, because that's not what they call it. These are what outside people are calling their spiritual practice. And so when you telling them that, you are offending them, and they feel like you are accusing them of witchcraft, and people have already been accusing them of that. So that's pissing them off. Don't call it that. Okay. Don't even let them, just let them know, hey, I done got serious about doing the spirit work. I done seen the old ways that our ancestors used to do spirit work in the church, so I'm taking on some of those traditions. Just tell her that. And she doing it, but she ain't calling it that. I guarantee you she doing. She don't want nobody sweeping her damn foot. She don't want nobody whistling in the house. She don't want nobody to open up an umbrella in the house. I bet damn well, I bet she doing it. But that ain't what she calling it. Okay, she doing it, but they integrated it so much in the culture. Again, you got white people on the outside seeing us doing stuff, trying to understand it. They're fascinated by it. Like I have told you, you guys, and then I not had somebody to get into my comments on YouTube to my Miss Penny, that book that you referred me to, it wasn't by no person that looked like us. No, it's not going to be about a person that a lot of them. Guess what? They took the knowledge of your ancestors and they trying to understand and they wrote it down. So ain't nothing they wrote down is wrong. You know why? Because they got it from you. What the hell? Come on now. They got it from you. They sit there and tell you in their folk magic. They got to talk about conjuring hoodoo to talk about their folk magic because you set the standard for folk magic. Come on now. North American magic is folk magic. What does hoodoo got in it? It's got European magic in there. It's got Jewish mysticism in there. It's got indigenous magic in there. Come on now. So yeah, you can look at which books, because why? Because you got European magic in hoodoo. But it's still hoodoo. How are we using it? Through the power of our ancestors. Now, do we go over authors that are that look like us? Absolutely. We got a lot of authors and a lot of books that's written by authors that look like us. But we look at the North American magic because we know they got some of our stuff in there. They learned from us because there was an exchange culture exchange going on. Them people didn't know how to use herbs and all that stuff, so our ancestors had to recommend herbs and stuff for them. They didn't know how to use herbal medicine until they came in contact with us, some of them. And they'll tell you that in their books. They will tell you that we set the standard for that. Everything they learn it from you. Okay? And then a lot of their stuff, it be right. Believe me, they studied you. They wanted to learn this. So they wrote, why you think they writing it down? They trying to remember. You understand me? It was already in you. So what do you have in hoodoo? You got European folk magic, you got Jewish mysticism, you got indigenous knowledge that's in there. Hell, now we got Hinduism in there. Okay, and a lot of them they will approach, especially when you talk about the Appalachian Mountain and the Melungeon people. You looking at Mexican magic and all that. You start looking at that, you start seeing remnants of hoodoo in that stuff. I sat up there and told you that you don't want to open no book, or you think the people that's saying something wrong. I can open a book. It's not a book that I can open up now. Them people ain't talking about hoodoo and conjure. It ain't a occult book I can pick up where they not talking about Kemet, ancient Kemet. They talking about your ancestors. So what are you talking about? They got everything they got from you. Why you think they writing it down? Please don't be silly. Use your sense, okay? Use your sense. And Bobby Hemmett had told you that man, you think that all the books that Bobby Hemmett read were from people of color? No, they were from people that didn't look like us that was mastering our science. Open your mind. Open your mind. They hiding it in these books. Have them going by crazy names. You wouldn't even think your stuff up in there. You open up that book, they talking about you. And they know it too. They be knowing it. Just like that man, he was on TikTok. He done went over there and set up an EFA for a long time. Now he writing a whole book on the Odu. He studied that. He writing it down. It ain't wrong either. It's right. Because he wanted to learn it. That's what happens when they go up in there because they don't know it, they write it down. See, we don't have to write it down. When you know something, you ain't got to write it down. Because you already know. But when you want to know something and study it and you want to keep it, what they do, write it down and put it in the book. And now you run around here thinking that you can't find it, and it's right there in that book. But you don't want to open the book because you feel like it come from a pale face person. It ain't no good. You ain't thinking in your mind that the pale face person studied everything you got and put it in that book. This is why I go to all this stuff. This is why I go off all this stuff. I take people all the way back to the root of it. Because if you start asking these people where they get that from, where did you come up with that from? You got to read down that book. Well, we looked at ancient Kemet and looking at African spirituality, and they was doing this and they was doing that. Uh, that's how we found this knowledge. They gonna let you know where they got it from, and it's gonna be somebody that look just like me. They can't pick this up and not come in contact with us. It just doesn't work that way. Okay, it just doesn't. They can't pick this up because again, you set this. You set the standard for this. So everything they writing about, you gonna believe they're gonna mention you. They're gonna mention your ancestors. They're gonna mention voodoo. They're gonna mention you. Believe me, they are. It ain't a book over there where I can't show nobody. I go right to it too. When I go do a lecture, I said, see there, they mention hoodoo and conjure right there in this book. Now this book say witchcraft, but they telling you that they learned what they learned from hoodoo and conjure. I show it right there for your own big beautiful eyes. Hey, internet. So you can just stop it with that. Y'all go on with that stuff. I don't know if you're doing that, make an excuse so you don't have to educate yourself on the spiritual science. So you're gonna throw the baby out with the bath water. I don't know what's going on with that. But these people, honey, they the one trying to jump up in your religion and get in. Why do you think all of them are trying to flock into Ifa, into voodoo? Here we is trying to get the hell out of their Christianity, and what are they doing? They running to us. Hell, you had some of them running to our black church. You had some of them running to our black church because they knew it was something in there. Honey, I heard this lady told me, a pale face lady, tripped me out. My friend got mad at me. But they have this church in Oklahoma. She was talking about. I think it's called something of the Living God, and she was talking about her experience there. How the women were dressed up like priestesses, and they had hair wraps on, and they were throwing rose petals on the floor, and she said it was just a beautiful ceremony, and you could just feel the presence of God in there. And that white lady looked at me and she said, "I'm just gonna tell. I've had maybe two or three of them to tell me that. I just know that y'all God's people. Something is really wrong with us." I've heard them say that. Now, my friend of mine got mad because she wanted to beat the woman up. I said, "Don't beat the woman up. Just listen to what the woman's saying, okay? The woman is telling us something." I've heard two or three of them say that. You guys, people, the way y'all do in your church, the way y'all glow when y'all praise God, of the way y'all sing, the way y'all they will tell you. You sit there and talk to them, they'll tell you that. That woman told me that. I'd have had two or three of them to tell me that. Okay, they'll tell you that. You see them trying to mark everything you do. They want some. They want some of everything you got. They got the copy of the way we talk, the way we dress, our music. If you ain't convinced by that, I don't know what to tell you. Okay? It's right there in your face. Now, if you ain't convinced with that, I don't know what else to tell you. When they call our culture urban, we are the urban legends. They tell stories in secret to their children as folklores and in public. See? Okay? So again, I don't know what to tell you, but that person was in my box, and I guess because of the person who wrote the book, and then you got a lot of them in hoodoo too, people in hoodoo too that they may not look like you, but they're Jewish and they practice hoodoo, or they don't look like you, but they live in the Appalachian mountain somewhere. That somebody done passed that on to them. They doing conjure in the Appalachian Mountains, so a lot of them people were mixed race people. They mixed together. There was a lot of cross culture going on there. Now I don't have anything to. I can't control that. That's what happened to our ancestors. You'll have some of them, they know conjure through granny magic. They stayed in Appalachian mountains. There was a lot of cross cultural things going on. We was showing each other stuff. They need help with somebody was sick or whatever, and our ancestors knew how to do certain magic or know how to use that scripture. They went in and helped them people. It got transferred that way sometimes. They sure do. I went to a shop, Jew witches they call it. They be knowing hoodoo. Like what's her name? Catherine Ironwood. What's her name? Anna Riva. You'll see some of these products like that. You look at these women, they look like pale face, but most of them got Jewish roots. So, and they practice hoodoo and conjure. Okay, you got them people in the Appalachian Mountains that do conjure and all that stuff. They do it well because they granted passed it on to them. They got mixed races up in there, the Melungeon people and stuff. Okay, you gonna see that. I don't have no control over that. It's the cross culture happen. Maybe they needed some help with something. They didn't know how to do something, and our ancestors was healer. They went right in there and they showed them how to do some work. And now it's in their stuff now. That cross culture happened. Is it closed? Absolutely, it's still closed. Okay, because there's still indigenous knowledge in here that some people just don't know if they don't have any ancestral links to our magic. Okay, all kind of hoodoo stuff in there. I'm telling you. Okay, so I'm letting you know them people they adopted our stuff because cross culture stuff happened. What was that movie I was watching? And I think Mary J. Blige played in there. And these people, daughter, one of their child had the whooping cough. Where Mary J. Blige, she was a root worker. She knew how to use those herbs and stuff to heal. When them people they came to her and they begged her to help them heal their daughter with the whooping cough. Because again, she knew how to work them roots, and she went over there and healed them folks. You see some of that happen. Our ancestors was healer, they have to go get them. Okay. They knew how to work with those herbs. What was that other movie, The Book of Negroes? If you seen that movie, that woman that was taking care of her, she knew how to work with those herbs. And she was vaccinating them. That woman was vaccinating them with them herbs and healing them and stuff before they got sick. She made a vaccination for it. And when that man came in there, he was getting ready to he wanted her to do something. She said, I'm not gonna do it. I don't want to do that. And that man told her, he said, I tell you what, if you don't do it, I'm gonna go out there and destroy all her herbs. And she went out there and planted. That woman said, please don't mess with my herbs. Please don't mess with my herbs. And she said, okay, I'm gonna do it. But see, that woman was a root worker. Okay, you seen that one was a root. She was healing everybody on that plantation, and she had her own little herb garden. And for that woman got sick, she said, "I'm gonna get you sick with it first, and then I'm gonna vaccinate you. I'm gonna give you some herbs, and then she healed the woman. So when that disease did come, she was vaccinated from. She wasn't gonna get sick. Our ancestors was smart. Okay, so they needed those root because you got to remember these root workers and midwives. They were the doctors before the doctors were doctors. They had some of these black women in there delivering babies. They was acting as doulas. Okay, they was assisting. Some of these doctors didn't know what they was doing. They had to go come get some of these black women to help them, tell them what's going on. So yes, some cross culture did happen because they needed us, and we were the real healers. Yeah, smart and secretive. Okay, and then that magic went on when you see over there in the Appalachian Mountain up in the hills. They were cut off too. What's the name of that damn show? I can't even remember, but it was about the Appalachian Mountain, about these people that stayed on the mountain. They was crazy as hell, but they was doing that mountain conjure up there. Okay, it was a Hulu show. I can't even remember the Hulu show, but I love that show. Okay, I can't even remember that show. That show tickled me too. Dang, I can't remember. They was some mountain people. It came on Hulu. I mean, I watched that whole show. I can't even remember. If y'all can bring it, you remember that show. Bring it to mind. Did they use our magic against us to subdue us? Now, when we was helping, the most of them folks was poor just like us. They couldn't afford to go to no doctor, nothing like that. So we would show them stuff. So not a lot of them was using that magic like that. The only part of people that was using that magic like that was our ancestors. Now we showed them healing stuff and stuff like that. But the only people that was using magic like that to that capacity like would be that would be us. We knew how to do justice magic and stuff like that. But when it came to healing and root work and things like that, they came to us because a lot of them didn't know how to use herbs to heal. We did. Now, if the only time they using some magic against you is in their Freemasonry. They're doing high magic ceremonies on you. That's how they're using the magic on you now through Freemasonry. Now, as far as this the normal side by side people practicing folk magic, y- I can't say I know of a pale first person that was using it totally against us. Not until you start looking at who was that Dr. Buzzard? Dr. Buzzard in that pale face man went back and forth uh it- with that magic thing. I think he was the judge. He was the judge of the town, and he was challenging Dr. Buzzard. And now that man started getting into witchcraft. And then I think Dr. Buzzard's son ended up passing away. And they said Dr. Buzzard stopped practicing so much when he ran into that white man because the man was mad because Dr. Buzzard's stuff was working. And so the man said he was gonna do it too. So he started practicing witchcraft and it worked too. Because Dr. Buzzard's son, I think this is Dr. Buzzard what I'm talking about. Dr. Buzzard's son ended up passing away as a result of that pale faced man doing witchcraft on him. That's the only time I've heard that happening like that. For the most part, all of us trying to survive and trying to create a better life for ourselves. So they didn't have time to be throwing magic and stuff at us like that. And of course, it was certain things we shared with them. Most of the things that we shared with them was due to it was about healing, about maybe fixing something in their life, just very light stuff. We weren't teaching them, the other stuff because we know other stuff in there. Okay. But you do know that you got some in conjure in that mountain magic, that mountain conjure. Again, they was cut off from society too. They was orchestrated too. They was marginalized too. Those that chose to stay up on that mountain like that, the Appalachian Mountain like that. A lot of them was marginalized. They were a mixed group of people. Okay. And so they stayed up on that mountain. They couldn't get health care and all that stuff either. And then you had black people, some of our ancestors up there, and they knew how to do it. And so when they came up with problems, they couldn't get the medicine or none of that. What you gonna do? You gonna go over there, sister so and so. She heals so and so from that right there. She got that touch. God got a anointing on her. You probably need to go get her and help you with that because she know how to do it. I tell you, she know. By that time, don't nobody care about no color. Nobody care about that. They care about the sister so and so because God has got a calling in her, and so they need to bring her in here to heal. Because folks, everybody talking about she can heal, not just white people, black people too. And that's how I went there. That's why you got them people going to Marie Laveau. They didn't care about her color no more. Them white folks want to help. They didn't give a damn about her color. They knew that the ancestors working with her. They need her help. Same thing with Aunt Caroline died. Them folks didn't care. That woman had governors coming to her, mayors coming to her, white people coming to her. Them folks didn't give a damn. They knew she had a talent and they was gonna go there and get some help. Okay. Same thing with Dr. Bussup, Dr. Bussup, Bishop Mason. Honey, by the time these people was in the height of their conjure, so they got pale face people coming in them too. Yeah, them people needed help. Okay. So you got a lot of that stuff that got crossed up like that. Now, did they know everything? Absolutely not. We had the sauce. That's why they was coming to us. They didn't know, and a lot of things our ancestors didn't share with them. Okay, but you do got some of them that's in conjure. You know, some of them are passe. They look like they white, but they ain't white. Or they got some African in their bloodline. Then you got some pale face people. They live with a black family, and it got passed on to them. We can pass it on that way too. They just raised up in the black family. They struggled with the black family. They saw what they was doing, and hoodoo got passed on to them. And now they know hoodoo. You have them know it like that too. It's still hoodoo. You know why? Because it was passed down. They were in the family. They were adopted in the family. So now it got passed on to them. This title is drawing me in imagination and spirit realm. Same thing. So when you go into the in your imagination and you seeing your ancestors in them, that's them. Now you ain't making it up. That is your inner vision, your third eye at play. The clearer your imagination is, the more healthier your third eye. If you can't visualize and your imagination is not being sparked, it ain't doing nothing, that means you need to work on your third eye. Your imagination should be in full swing. Okay, your imagination should, it can be overactive, especially with the water signs. You guys can have an overactive imagination, so y'all be careful. But again, your imagination, that's what it is. And then y'all sit up, some of y'all say, I'm making it up. You absolutely are. Your mind know has again, it knows how to project things. All you got to do is tell it what to do, and it'll do it. Okay. Why I wonder why I imagine things and they would happen because you ain't imagining nothing, is you actually seeing it. You actually seeing it. Okay. You're actually seeing it. And so no one is telling you this. So again, lean into your imagination. Lean into your meditation. Do visual meditations. Sometimes you will do a meditation and it feel like you are right there in that part. I have been next to water and I can really feel the water and hear the water. Play with your senses. Play with going into those realities because the realer you can make it, the better link you're going to have with the spiritual realm. And see, they taking that from you now with this virtual reality and stuff. You got your own virtual reality in your mind. These video games and TV and all that stuff, that they messing up your virtual reality every time they give you some artificial like that when you already have that in your mind. Your mind already knows how to project realities. It already knows how to do that. I see white orbs on my front porch, on my door camera. Those supposed to be signs of spirits when you start seeing orbs. Those supposed to be signs of spirits. I see them sometime. I remember I was doing a video one time and I was working with the angel and I seen a white orb go through my throat. So when you start seeing orbs and things like that, that's just a sign of spirit. Okay, those energies are at play. Especially when you start working, if you've been doing a lot of ritual work or working with angels or ancestors and working with your energy, you'll probably start seeing orbs. Very normal. What about flashing lights? I don't know what you mean by that. What about flashing lights? What do you mean? Okay. So if you're doing any type of work like that, if you're doing any type of ancestor work, working with angels and things like that, that's a very big indication that they're around when you start seeing those orbs. Good sign, not a bad sign at all. If you're seeing something in your peripheral, it's probably something there. Could be an angel, some sort of light being, but it could be something there. I would say, again, the only way you guys are going to be sure of this, you're going to have to close them eyes and go into meditation. You're going to have to. I know a lot of y'all don't like meditation. You don't like sitting still, but that's where you're going to access things. If you can start doing this for at least 5 minutes at a time, it would be better if you did the shadow work so you won't be your mind won't keep going. You won't be hearing all these voices and all this stuff while you're trying to see. That's why shadow work comes into play because it helps you access inner peace. Let me put this up here. It helps you access more inner peace. If you ain't did the shadow work and you haven't worked on quieting your mind and regulating your emotions, you're going to get static. And I'm telling you, trying to see things with your natural eyes, you're not going to be, because these eyes weren't meant to see from beyond. It was only meant to see reflections of light. Your inner vision is meant to see beyond. So stop trying to see things with your naked eye. Now, once you have did this a lot and you have constructed your imagination and you trust it or whatever, you'll start to see too these spirits will become more dense and more dimensional. You'll see them start to come in your physical reality more. Because the more real you make them in your mind, the more active they can be in your 3D reality. That's what happens. The more realer you, the more realer you make them. It's kind of the same, like, kind of the same energy with the Sevator. The more energy and concentration and mental awareness that you give to the Sevator, the more things they'll be able to do, more active they can be for you. Kind of, sort of like that. Sometimes I smell cigarette smoke and nobody, their ancestors. Yes, it was a flashing white light. Again, go in and see what you see with your inner eye. Go within, stop looking with these eyes and look with this eye. Close your eye because that's what you really that's gonna be able to see the things that this eye can't see. Because these eyes be fooling you because they're telling you this real and it's not. Okay, I see light in my head when I close my eyes. Okay, so again, really work with your visualization. Really work to see pictures and things like that. I know when I first got in here, I think the tarot really helps to build the imagery in your head because it taps into those archetypes in the collective unconscious. So the tarot helps bring that, helps that too. What else helps that? Just looking at all sorts of spiritual pictures and things like that. Again, it helps build your inner vision. And before you know it, when you start going into meditation, you'll start seeing some of these things. You'll be surprised what you do see in your inner vision when you relax and let your mind do what it's supposed to do. All you gotta do is relax. And see, some people they have a problem doing this. That's why you got people taking shrooms, you got people taking ayahuasca and all these other catalysts into the spiritual realm. And that's what they are. They're just like a crystal. So these people taking ayahuasca and they taking herbs like this, it's just like a crystal would work to heighten your vibration, to tap into their frequency. The same thing that happens to your mind. But you're ingesting it. And again, it's heightening your awareness so you can tap into those frequencies mentally. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Now we covered a lot of this. We covered a lot of this stuff um in our community because I constantly go over your thoughts. I know how important it is because that's going to be your major tool for spiritual communication and your magic. I bought a sound bowl. It helps a lot during meditation. Yeah, it really does help. That's going to help with emotional regulation too. Okay, that you use those sound bowls and using sound to heal yourself. It will help bring those emotions back into a healthy vibration and frequency. Okay. But I can't tell you enough how important the shadow work is. You can get in here and you ain't worked on your shadow work. You got a lot of trauma, and you come up in here and bam, you say you see a demon. Yeah, you probably did see a demon because that demon is a archetype within you, something that you didn't heal and clear out yet. So now you done had a bad trip because now you got this monster, this demon or whatever in there, and it's really a wound. It's really a wound that you haven't worked on yet. The darker aspects of yourself, which I'll go into that even more when we start talking about um the tree of life and the tree of death, which we're gonna be talking about that soon in our community. So I have to be careful with how I approach the tree. I know you heard about the tree of life, but then they have a tree of death. Now, that tree is supposed to be uh connected to the ancestors and with shadow work, but you must be careful how you approach the tree of death. So, yeah. Yep, it's on Patreon. Our community's on Patreon. We have so many resources on over there, but I'm not going to keep you long. I know it's getting late over there. Now, if you are interested in the astro reading, you saying, Miss Penny, huh? I want to do hoodoo, but I don't know where to start it. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start it. I don't know where I should go. I just don't know, Miss Penny. Well, you have your natal chart. A lot of y'all love y'all zodiac sign. You love your zodiac sign. You like it's right on target about your characteristics and all that stuff. That's where it's gonna start at. That's your root work. You give it to me, and I'm gonna break it all down and show you, the root work and some of the work you need to be doing to get you in alignment. Okay, give you a head start. What kind of shadow work you need to be doing? What type of root work you need to be doing to maintain your spiritual wellness and to get you in alignment. Now, if that's something that you're interested in, you can DM me. And again, I need your time, your date, your place of birth, and your email address. Again, I'm going to repeat this again. I need your time, your date, your place of birth, and your email address. Okay. And that service is only $15 if that's something that you're interested in. What your service prices or where to find it. I usually send you out an invoice for the service I had done, and it was so helpful. Astro reading. Okay. California Forever 444 said they had a astro reading done, and it was very, very helpful. And I'm telling they be 80 to 90% right. Okay, they be 80 to 90%. You'll be surprised how right they be. And as usual, just because I recommend it to you, please ask your ancestors because that it's probably gonna be some stuff in there about your ancestors. Ask your ancestors. Trust yourself and how you want to move forward. Just because I recommend it don't mean you got to do it just the way I recommend you do it. Ask your ancestors how they want you to do it too. I don't want you to go beyond your ancestors when doing this. This is the work I recommend for you, but it's usually on target because truly you are a star and you came in here with talents, you came in here with gifts, and you came in here with things that you need to heal. And you're definitely going to get all that information in your reading. I felt droplets of water on me, but wasn't raining or not spraying taking place. Mm, that's something. Okay. So I'm going to let you guys go. This is a very interesting topic, and I hope you gain something from it. And like usual, I'm going to come here again and see Shay was out in these comments. I hope she's still up in there, honey. Y'all probably need to be getting with Shay because Shay knows some stuff. The ancestors dealing with Shay. This girl was 4, 5 steps ahead of me. And we ain't even talked about egregores yet, but we're gonna talk about egregores. Um, we're gonna talk about egregores and how we see them every day and we don't know what we're looking at. I touched a little bit on it, but we'll come back and talk about that. Please ask ancestors with great morals and values. That's right. We only call on our most elevated ancestors. Please do not put family members. I know what they telling y'all. I see. I'm gonna have to come back out. That's probably gonna be my next live stream because I'm gonna have to come here and talk about types of ancestors. I just don't know how I'm gonna talk about it because there's so many different types of ancestors, and this goes beyond family. And see, they got y'all thinking it's just family or whatever. No, 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 honey. You Ooh, Lord, you just don't understand the ancestors. If you understood the ancestors, how they can do anything from everybody. When I tell you some of them look like angels and a lot of them are saints, and honey, you can't tell the difference sometimes between them and the angel and the saint. You can't tell. And then you got ancestors that's uncanonized. Okay, like ancestors like Marie Laveau, uh, High John the Conqueror, Aunt Caroline Die, uh, Martin Luther King. I can just go on. When I talk about ancestors, you don't know. You don't know. You don't know. You think just by family, honey. You seen them ancestors standing behind you. You be like, oh my God, is that many Miss Penny? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It would blow you out, boy. Knock your socks off. You see how many ancestors standing with you. You be like, what the? These ain't the ancestors from the 20th century. These the ancestors from back down there from 300,000 years ago. That's them ancestors. You think about family, honey. You see how many ancestors standing on the side of you. You hush your mouth. You really would. You wouldn't be. You wouldn't be just limiting them to just family because it's just so many of them. It'll knock your socks off when you see them. See, I done seen them. I done seen the holy ones where you can't even look at them because you like, oh my God, y'all so holy. You just prostrated. You know, they godlike when you see them. Just righteous. You understand me? You got some like that. Then you got some that in the lower grade, they're angels and they're elevating to that status. See, you don't know, y'all don't know. Let's just say you limited to this family, honey. When I tell you the ancestors can do anything, anytime, through anybody, anywhere. And I mean that. I done seen it with my own eyes. I done seen it. Okay? I've seen ancestors in my dreams outside my window one night and they look old. Yeah, know your angels and they do this because but then too, you can know that too, Chanel, and you get with that angel, you think they do one thing and you get to working with them and they like you and they'll tell you, I know how to do this too. I can help you. You like you can help me with that. I can help you with that too. I had a practitioner over there. She was working with one angel. She thought he was just good for healing. I think it was Raphael. And Raphael told her, he said, I can do this too. She said, you can do this? He said, yeah, I can help you with that. Okay, so you think they got one attribution that they like you and you vibe with them, they'll say, hey, work with me on this too. I can help you with that. They're just so easy to work with, and the offerings for angels, they'd be really, really simple. The altars for them are just so beautiful because when you start working with, and that's with ancestors too, your altar just get more and more beautiful. It'd be them, okay? It just get more beautiful and more big and more elaborate and start looking like a shrine, and ancestor is when you're working on your ancestor altar, you might start out with a white cloth and all that, honey. They might start you putting flowers on there and all types of gold stuff on there and ornaments. It's just gonna get more and more beautiful. Okay. I always call on Michael, Raphael, and Gabriel. Yeah, those are the most common angels people work on, and those are the angels I have a lot of people working with too. Miss Penny, can you talk about little about brick dust? Okay, brick dust, red dust. It's not so commonly used now. And every time I think about, I don't know why it's like that, but I remember my mom and them used to love eating clay dirt. I don't know why I think about clay dirt when I think about brick dust. I don't know why I think about that. I don't know if that's related or not. But that brick dust, again, they used to lay brick dust down in front of the doors and the doorways for protection. You don't see brick dust like that anymore because it was very common around that time to get your hands on brick dust. It's a lot. I don't think it's easy as it used to be to get your hands on brick dust, but you can use it for protection and to create a barrier to stop people that want to harm you or wish you harm or anything like that for protection. What is it that you want to know about brick dust? That's the basic thing I know. I know a lot of people don't use brick dust no more. I know I don't get my hands on it, so I use salt. You got people now you can do that with salt. Some people lay a little fiery wall of protection and add a little cayenne pepper to it. Okay. So you can add a little cayenne pepper to it and make a fiery wall of protection. Some people make black salt. Okay. Some people lay that down. Uh, some people use spikes to protect their house. Some people use horseshoes. Everybody's different. Okay. Whatever your ancestors leading you to throw down there to protect your house, you do that. Honey, sometimes I do the same. I go down, honey, I go and pray over the house. I got a anointing oil on the door. Somebody, my daughter walked in my house one time. She said, "Is that oil on that wall?" I said, "Yeah, I was praying for this house." I was praying for this house. She looked at that wall. I was praying for the wall. And she looked up there. She said, "Is that oil on the wall?" I said, "Yep, I was praying for the house." Okay. So, I bought 2 bricks and made my own. Okay. You could do it that way too. Okay. You could do it that way too. Some of our ancestors, they made their own brick dust. They knew where to go find some brick set, where to get some brick dust. Okay. Well, when I did that, my daughter said, "What?" So I pray for the door. I pray for the doorknob. Honey, don't play with me because I mess around and write down the scripture and tape it to the wall to pray for the wall. Ain't no telling with me. Because when I go to hoodoo and I go to hoodoo and doing some of everything. And you be like, "You did that?" "Yeah, I did that. I sure did. I was going to hoodoo the mess out there trying to protect this house and trying to get that thing up out of there. I'm writing down scriptures and everything. I'm hoodooing. Okay. I'm getting that stuff up out of here. And so, telling what you going to see me do. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna get the job done. I'm gonna be creative about it. And hoodoo is a lot like that. Our ancestors had to be creative. I was given a few ideas to make a mixture with brick dust from spirit. You better follow it. If they telling you to do it, follow it because it's gonna work. If the spirit telling you to do it, it's gonna work. Stop following people. If the spirit told you to put something together, it's gonna work. Stop trying to look for people to teach you something. Because you get over here with me, I'm gonna have you following the spirit. I'm gonna make you mad because you're gonna be asking me, "Miss Penny, how do I give you general stuff?" And then I said, "Go ask your ancestors too." Okay, you need to learn from them. You need to be learning from people because they're gonna teach you right. How can you keep yourself protected from different energy when you stay in a hotel? Honey, I stay in an apartment right now, honey. I got some fiery wall of protection. Every time I leave out, I take a shower. And I get up every morning and I'm reading my protection psalms and things and anoint myself with oil. You just gonna have to be diligent. Don't be talking to a lot of people either, because people got spirits in them. So you got to be very careful who you engaging your energy in. Who you engaging your energy in. Again, the idea is to protect your energy. And I wish I could walk around with Florida water and spray people in the face like roaches. I wish I could do that sometime. Get back. Get back. Just spray them. Sometimes I wish that sometime. But you really gonna have to take care of yourself. You really gonna have to be diligent and lay down some salt at your door. You'll know who don't mean you know good because they won't be able to cross that threshold. They will not. They'll automatically stop right there. They be wanting to come in, but because you through that prayed over that salt and put that salt at that doorway, they're gonna stop right there. Sometimes they'll see it and stop. They don't know why they stopping, but you know why they stopping because they'll mean you know good. Put that stuff down in front of the door. Okay, you gonna see a difference. They're gonna be wanting to come in and can't come in. Okay, so got to be diligent and keep yourself clean. Make sure you got you some type of soap or something. Uh, when you come in contact with them people, and you probably already see spirits in them. Be very careful about who you get engaging with. That's what you're gonna have to do, baby. I'm sorry. I live in an apartment complex and I have to do the same thing. I don't talk to nobody. I do what I gotta do, come back home, take my shower. I'm very careful about who I engage with. Okay. Well, all right, you guys. This was a nice topic and Shay, honey, we're gonna have to come back here and talk about in Gregor's. And then I'll come back here again and share some more things with you. But I thought this was very helpful and that would give you confidence in your work and in yourself. Okay. Because your imagination is gonna be the tool to help you tap into the spiritual realm. And know you that not making it up. You just don't trust your inner vision. These people that lied to us and kept us disconnected and all that stuff. That's what's going on with you. But I guarantee you get yourself over there in our community, and honey, you're gonna have confidence in yourself because I'm not gonna let you do that to yourself. Just not, that's not what we're here for. Okay. All right. You're welcome, sweetie. You guys, good night. You guys have a good night, and you should be seeing me again soon. Should you cover it? or it is it okay to leave exposed while you lay it for protection? In my when I'm doing something like that and I'm making stuff like that for protection, I usually keep it on my altar and pray over it for a while to put a lot of ashe into it. So that's how I do. I don't know how your ancestors calling you to do it, but I usually, if I'm going to work with a herb or I'm working with salt or something like that, I'm going to pray over it. I might say Psalms 23, Psalms 27, Psalms 91, and then call on my ancestors to bless it with protection as well. I'm just going to put a lot of ashe into it before I lay it down. That's just me. I don't know how your ancestors going to call you to do it. But I think everything, when the more intention and awareness that you put into, the more potent it is, because that's the power of our mind and our mouth. I'm just telling you what I think. Okay. You're welcome, sweetie. Good night, you guys. I hope that helped, Antoinette. Okay. But I'll be coming here again, um, and having some more conversation again in our Patreon community. If y'all want to know something, I don't mind talking on the topic. Let me know. We got a group chat over there. Let me know. I can't talk about it if you don't tell me. And the closed mouth can't be fed. If you don't say you hungry, have somebody know. I can't feed you if you don't tell me you're hungry. Okay, so you have to talk to me in that community and let me know what you need, and I can address that. Don't have a problem with it. Okay. All right, I love you guys, and I wish you the best on your hoodoo. I hope you be able to just turn up some stuff and call down magic, and all your dreams come true with your magic. Okay, and I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna share more things with you that'll help you. And of course, if you're new on your hoodoo journey, you want to learn a lot more, get over there in our community, Spiritual Roots Hoodoo Community. The link is in our bio. The best one, if you don't know anything, you need healing work and all that, get in our Know Thyself member. If you know a little bit, you have a relationship with your ancestors, get in our ritual. If you saying, "Oh, hey, Miss Penny, I know the ritual. I know how to work with angels. I know how to work with saints. I did the shadow work. I want to learn conjure. I want to learn how to work with different spirits." Then get in our conjure membership. Okay. All right. Good night. Love you guys. Take care.